All right. Wearing one of my favorite shirts today. I bought this shortly after retiring. I thought it would send a clear signal that I never want a job again. Oh, guys, what a day. What a day. What a day. So there's so much to go over. This is probably going to be one of the craziest weeks of our financial lives coming up here soon. So SpaceX did a little thing. With Mechazilla, they were able to catch a 20-story building over the weekend, and then also had a splash landing of the Starship just where they wanted it in the ocean near Australia. I haven't seen Joe Biden or Kamala Harris congratulate Elon and Tesla or SpaceX yet, so if you guys see that, let me know. Not really waiting on it, but I do believe that, like my buddy Banana Stocks 333, whatever the hell his name is, I do believe that he's right, and I was saying it too, that this will be impactful on Tesla's stock. So far in pre-market, only up 1.2%. We got a nice little gap fill that I think we could even fill today. The narrative will change. That's part of the process. Everybody shits on what was released. Eventually, they figure out that it's amazing, just like SpaceX's launch over the weekend. And then they get caught up. But that's not the only thing we have to talk about. We have a lot more. Bitcoin hit 65,000. It's near a breakout zone of a 7-month downtrend. That seems pretty amazing. A company named Samara AG is going to issue $30 million in bonds to buy Bitcoin. We've got an Australian Ethereum ETF coming out. We've got a bunch more than that. Thank you, InShadow, for becoming a member or rejoining or whatever. But not just that. That's interesting, too. We got oil down about 2% on the day. We've got Chinese markets down because they were expecting about, 300 billion plus in stimulus over the weekend, and they didn't get it. Their economic data, at least in regard to exports and imports, was also horrific. And there's just so much more. There's a lot to talk about. We don't have a lot of economic data ourselves today. We just got some feds talking. That's about it. But we got a lot to go over. There's a lot of interesting stuff. I'll get caught up into the chat here in a second. Also, I've got an investment basics segment that I want to do today, where we'll kind of jump into some of that stuff. Let's take a look here. So let's see how markets are doing. Start off the day here. We'll go into pre, and we'll just look at what the performance looks like. It's definitely one of the better days, I would say. Energy just getting smacked. China getting smacked. Stay the fuck away from China. Have I said that? Definitely do that. Oh, also today, I found something else. I don't know. You guys might already use this. There's this program called Speechify that I started using on my mobile device. I'm going to be adding it on here so that we can listen to Snoop Dogg do some of the reading of articles to where I don't have to. It's beautiful. It works really, really great. It's saving me a ton of time, and it's cross-platform. It works across a bunch of different stuff. So I'll be setting that up. It's a huge time saver. I can actually have it. I can take a picture of a book and have it read it to me, just like I would read it, which is great. I've got one eye that doesn't even work, ADD, not able to focus. My daughter has the same problem. So for me, reading books was just never a thing until like Audible was created and until additional tools that just made it a lot easier for me. So I love that I found this tool to be able to utilize too, and I might use it every once in a while for longer articles on the channel. Again, I got that Trueflation membership. I've got to experiment and get into that a little bit more. I am buying Descript. I believe from all the research I've done, I got a nice AI. Its name is Poe. It's amazing. You can get for a monthly fee. You can pull from this and hit a bunch of different APIs like Llama, like all of them, Claude, everything, OpenAI, like virtually everything. So I've already got Grok through X, and now I'm using Poe to be able to query a bunch of different other AI models to get answers to questions I have or create content that I want to create. That was a cool find too. That helped me figure out a lot of what I want to do with some of these other tools. So as I find things and we add them to the channel, you're going to see things get better. And then also I'll pass them on to you guys so you guys have a better idea of what I'm digging and what things that I'm changing. So if anybody wanted to create a channel or do anything like that, they'll have a heads up on other people. Right now, CNBC, what are they talking about? The S&P 500 and the fact that it hit records on Friday, which is pretty good. And again, markets are looking strong this morning. Let's actually look at Bitcoin real quick. I'll jump into comments. This is so good, guys. This is so good. So we're sitting on the Crypto Fear and Greed Index right now. We're sitting at a level of 48, which is historically not that high. It's the middle level. Obviously, it's right over here. But you can see how high we can get and how long we can stay there. And we are just getting ready for a breakout on Bitcoin, which is phenomenally exciting. Again, you can see that 65,000 level, that next fib where we're pressing up against it hard. Didn't even make it down to the 50, which is fine with me. I mean, we made it down to my original target, of 59,000. Stop there. I have no problem with that. I think that's beautiful. If anything, it just shows more strength, and that's what we want. So I think it's coming. It doesn't have to. Your favorite layout. Choose manually. Leave me alone. Get off my screen. What are you trying to do? What is this shit? Stop that. Evidently, TradingView's got some new things. Oh, that's cool. Wait. Is this... What is this? Manage layouts. Are these just for different stock? Or is this under one ticker? Could I make a bunch of different charts under Bitcoin or under Tesla? I'm going to love this, guys. If this is what I think it is, that could be sweet. That could help a lot with Discord too. We'll play with that later. Let's see what you guys have for comments. I'm sure there's a bunch of questions. And, let me do this too. So we know Bitcoin's getting ready to break out. We know that 92 level's the sweet spot. Let's look down here at this watch list, and then I'll move this over a little bit so that we can get extended hours and see what's moving. Let's just search real quick here. So MicroStrategy, going to be the leader again today. That will wane. BITX is right behind it, the 2X Bitcoin fund. Ooh, look, CleanSpark right behind that. So really, if you ignore these 2X funds, CleanSpark is beating MicroStrategy. If only someone could have told us that Bitcoin miners will eventually outperform. I wish I knew that person. Would have been really helpful. Oh well. I guess we'll never know. All right, let's keep going. Comments. Let's get into comments, guys. I think it's going to be a fucking glorious day today. Mike Lauk. Oh, and with Descript, here's what I'm going to do today. After this, before the market recap, I will be running it through. I've got to figure out how to do all of it. I think I got an idea. I'm going to run it through, have it take out the uhs, the ums, the silent pauses, and then create chapters, summarize it. What this 3-hour session we're getting ready to do, maybe longer. I don't know. I'm in a really good mood. But I'm going to have it do all those things, and I'm going to have it break it down and summarize the video and see how much I can shorten it when I take out all of my bullshit. And along with cuss words for people that want clean versions, if you're cool with not watching me live, you'll be able to have that, so you can give it to a class or give it to somebody younger who you don't, or watch it in front of your family without having to worry about Jesse dropping F-bombs and saying all kinds of inappropriate things. You'll have that opportunity. How exciting is that? And I'll get to learn how to do that, and then I'm going to try and refine that, get good at it, and then I'm going to have my wife, admin wife, take over once I feel like I understand the program really well and what it has to offer. I'm probably also going to use Opus AI to create shorter segments, and then also YouTube Shorts to get more content out there in front of more people so that we can grow this channel. So all kinds of fun stuff ahead. All right, let's look here real quick. Justin, good morning, Jesse and crew. I'm buying some of those Tesla calls this morning that were down 35 or 25% on Friday. I would probably get them soon because I imagine that they won't stay down for long, is my guess. You guys have to realize we're bouncing today. Let's look at the monthly real quickly on the top 100 shit coins. SPX, I don't know, maybe people thought they were buying the SPY. Doesn't matter. Up 3,000%. 31x. 31x. Ooh, that's annoying. I'm going to have to turn my Discord on Do Not Disturb real quick. I got to remember to do that. If I don't do that, don't switch. Do Not Disturb. Okay, is it Do Not Disturb over here? All right, whatever. I'll figure that shit out later. Oh, no, that can't last. Nope, phone's got to go. All right, there goes the phone. We'll figure that out later. All right, anyway. So, yeah, 31x. Nero. This is just another dog coin. I mean, PopCat, evidently the cats don't get as much love. And I personally love cats too, so that bothers me. If you look at Mog, if you look at PopCat, just not feeling it. They probably will catch up though, because that's the way this shitcoin world works. But 56x in a month for the people that bought this trash. Congratulations to all of you. And if you look here, even things like Sui, actually maybe a decent coin. Say some of these others that at least try to be legitimate companies, they're doing all right. But again, the shittiest of the shit usually rises to the top, and that's okay. That's okay. That's how this market works. It's incredibly speculative, and this is just what happens. So it's all good. It's all good in the hood as Bitcoin pushes up against that 65,000 mark. And I'll let you guys know if I see anything good on CNBC. Again, we really don't have anything in the way of economic data today to slow us down. It will be news-driven events for the day. And we can see over here kind of how we're sitting so far. And not a bad day. If you own the things I own, if you've got all the Bitcoin-related investments, SoFi is up 4% in after hours. Remember how SoFi was just a pile of shit? All that changes, right? Hood up 2%, Tesla up 1.17. If you own a lot of the stuff I own or the things I've been talking about, like Micron and all these other, they're doing good. PayPal's up only 0.2, but it'll have its time. Argentina's only up 0.13. It'll have its time. Palantir's kind of flat, 0.1. I think it already had its time. You guys know my view on that. TLT getting butchered today, down 0.5%, which means TMF is getting 3x that pain. BABA down 1.67. If you're trying to make money off of shorting Bitcoin with Biddy, that ain't working out too good today either. Some of these others, because a little dry. A lot of shitcoin stuff really popping here. All the shitcoins, making tons of money off of shitcoins today. I don't know. Today feels like a 250,000+ day, guys. We'll see what happens with it, but I think we're going. We're launching. Markets are launching. Remember how everybody told you to fear all these things? And how I told you just needed to be patient? That the Japanese yen carry trade wasn't going to be the end of the world? That the stuff in Israel and between Iran and Lebanon and all this stuff wasn't going to be the end of the world. It's still not. We're climbing. I mean, China is entering a Great Depression. And like I've said before, I don't think it's going to be the end of the world for the rest of the world because I think they're going to benefit from the deflation and the pain and the suffering and the outflows of capital. So South China Sea, the rest of them, isn't it weird? China was gonna invade the South China Sea. They've been militarizing the entire thing, and now really, it's like they're just giving them all their wealth as they bleed out onto the street. That's what's happening to the CCP right now. Very fascinating stuff. And Bloomberg is trying to get you to buy more China-related funds too. So just remember, run whenever Bloomberg tells you to do something. That's probably what got me Kevin. Is he reads Bloomberg articles all the time and thinks they're true. That probably makes a disadvantage for him, I would say. But anyway, let's move. Let's keep going. Loving today. Ready to rock and roll today. Justin, good morning. Jesse and crew. Oh, we already did that. Dave Chapinda, good morning, afternoon, boys. Jesse, let's get this money this week. Let's go. You know it. Albert, hi, everyone. Last week was incredible to humanity. 1010 and Starship launch were such insane events. We will be looking at that in a second. Let's see here. Alex Garcia, morning, Jesse and team. Morning, gang, says Disease Kodak. Dylan, good evening, sir. Yeah, you know what? It would be so cool if I could just highlight all this and have Snoop Dogg read it for us. I'll try and have that set up by tomorrow. We'll see if I can do it. I don't know, though. Can I? Oh, would that work? Oh, dude, I think it would. Would it? I could just have Snoop Dogg read off everything. Or Mr. Beast. You guys let me know a preference. We'll do a poll. All right, let's keep going. Good day, everyone, says John Mars. I said this week is going to be fucking sick. We're all going to make just tons of money. It's going to be painful how much money we make this week. Jamiri, good afternoon, or afternoon, Jesse. Today is looking good. Oh, and by the way, there's this little thing called earnings seasons. Has anybody heard of that? That's a thing where you got earnings coming out. Not this week for the stuff I really pay attention to, but next week. Trucking-related data, Enphase, Google, Teladoc just for fun. Whatever, nobody gives a fuck about that. It's probably a failing company. Microsoft Corporation, Tesla, Amazon next week. The following: SoFi, Coinbase, Robinhood, Meta, Apple. Somebody asked me about Tesla earnings next week. I don't know what happens with those. Energy was obviously a little bit lower. That's a high margin game. I don't know. The Cybertruck ramp is probably getting better. I look at it this way, though. If it goes down and Bitcoin's pumping, then I just get to play the Bitcoin Tesla arbitrage play, and that's one of my favorite things. So. But yeah, earnings, lots of earnings. And we'll just switch this view real quickly. We'll take out my favorites and we'll put it on the weekly. And you can see a lot of stuff. Not so much today. Tomorrow, more banks. Bank of America, Citibank, Goldman Sachs. A lot of bank shit tomorrow, right? Lots of bank stuff. Is that a Delta? United Airlines is in there tomorrow. So we're gonna start getting real data again, showing how the economy is doing. So far, it's been pretty good. A lot of this stuff shows really good earnings and a reason for an increasing multiple. We'll see if that maintains. But I don't have a lot of worries right now. I'm very excited about all of it. All right, let's see here. Got a bunch of good mornings. Just gonna skip some of those. Dustin P11 says, "Cool, I knocked and waiting for a response." You knocked. Who'd you knock on? Good morning. Will Pumptober launch finally? And I said we're on the doorstep of it. I want to add tomorrow today. You wanted to add tomorrow today? Is Mara already up today? I mean, it might be hard if it's already up. Oh, it's up 5%. I mean, you could. Should have done that Friday, guys. Remember the really shitty days? Well, I don't know. Bitcoin. Well, I guess miners probably didn't. They went up double digit. I mean, Friday wasn't really that great either. But you could have bought Tesla on Friday. Down 25% on my options. Can't wait to see what those do today. It's going to be sick. All right, Alex Garcia, knock, knock. Who's this? It's BTC, motherfucker. He didn't say that, but I just added that part. This is why we got the clean version coming. Micro to macro. So it should be good for those that arbitrage oh, yeah, that was me. I'm literally reading my own comments. This is why we need Snoop Dogg, guys. Dustin P11, holy smokes, BTC nearly 65K. Looks like a bunch of people are starting to wake up. Dylan says, I want to be greedy and wish for both to be good. Oh, I hope not. I love it when things underperform and other things do really great. It just lets me get more of the things that are underperforming, which are going to do better later. So it just makes me feel like I'm getting a lot of deals. Millsy David, good morning all. Feels like it's going to be a great day. SpaceX yesterday was simply mind-blowing. I'm 60 years young, and that is simply the most amazing thing I've ever witnessed. I'm 47, Millsy, and that was beautiful, and I even started to tear up. I was so excited about it. It's really cool to see somebody who, like Elon Musk, who wasn't optimistic about his purpose for life or why any of us are here, and instead of turning that into something dark and giving up on life, he he turned it towards making the world amazing and doing things that are supposed to be impossible, especially in the time frames that he tries to do them. And he doesn't hit all of them in the time frames, but boy, does he do it amazing stuff. And it's awesome, man. Simone or Simon? Simone, I'm going to say bravo. Nice shirt. Thank you very much. People look at me like I'm a homeless person when I wear it, unless I wear like one of my fancy watches, semi-fancy. It looks blingy. Chicken Bro, lol, unemployable. Yes. Sidecar guy, like button has been hit. Thank you, sir, and everybody who does that. Victor Hernandez, oops, good morning. Chicken Bro, I should get one with unfireable. That's good, too. Let them know they can't get rid of you. Concord, good morning. Todd Gleason, what's your interpretation of the OPEC demand forecast decrease? I think I said that was actually happening last week. And yeah, it's going to. It looks like 2025 is going to be a rough year for people that are long oil, unless we break out into a major war. It's going to suck. And it sounds like some of the attack plans that Israel and the United States are brewing up against Iran will actually hurt their refining facilities, which means they'll need to, if they can't refine it and get a higher price for it, that it will actually hurt Iran because they'll have less revenue coming in, but it will force them to push their oil out into the general markets. So there's normally like a ban on sanctions against Iranian oil, and so I don't know. It would be helpful if they blow up a bunch of refineries in Iran. It'll be devastating to them because they'll lose premium oil prices, which again can drop the amount they make 30+%. But it'll be really beneficial probably for China, which is in desperate need of it, and India and other countries that shouldn't be taking it in but could. So we'll see what happens. But I think oil gets even cheaper in the future from the attack, which I never would have guessed. But very excited to see if that happens. Simone, will SpaceX ever join the stock market? No, probably not. Not anytime soon. Elon said that what he wants to do, he doesn't want to have a bunch of investors trying to fuck with him the way he does with Tesla, and destroy his vision. And like just even recently with Tesla, again, there's always something people are complaining about. But the Cybercab is a 2-seater with no pedals and steering wheels. And yet the most devout advocates for Tesla and Elon Musk all of a sudden are like, God, why didn't he put that stuff in? And it's like, he didn't put it in there because it helps reduce the cost substantially. And this is supposed to be a fucking cyber taxi that you just hop in and it goes. So I get that doesn't conform with everybody's worldview of how a vehicle works. But that is his vision of the future, and he does run this company and do all the amazing shit that we love so much. So maybe just give him an opportunity to show how great he is. Oh, CNBC is talking about Elon. This should be fun. I might jump over to that in a second. Let me just hop over here real quick and see what these fucking morons have to say. 1 second here. I'm just going to refresh. This is always entertaining because of just the sheer levels of stupidity. So we'll probably watch that in a second, just for shits and giggles. But yeah, so Elon has a vision. Maybe let him have it and just enjoy the ride, right? I don't know how many of you guys thought you could catch 20-story fucking buildings with chopsticks, or had plans to do that in the next year or so. But maybe give the brilliant fucking guy an opportunity to show you his vision, and then when he's done it, if it fails, you'd be like, oh hey, I told you that was never gonna work. Instead of just being like everybody being an armchair cowboy and being like, oh, we should have done it this way. Oh, really? You guys are so smart. I really appreciate your input. Maybe shut the fuck up and let the multi-billionaire who's going to be the richest person in the world just do his thing. And you guys can go judge somebody else who's a lot more inferior to him. Anyway, my 2 cents. All right, let's keep going here. So yeah, let's listen to CNB bullshit and see what they have to say. And then we're going to jump into a bunch of topics because, again, we've got a lot. Again, guys, we've got a lot of stuff about Tesla, Bitcoin. Bitcoin, if it breaks out, I'm going to actually add the ticker, guys. I need to do this. I need to add the ticker down below. So while this is all happening, we are going to move and display the ticker so that we can keep track of Bitcoin, because I think at literally any moment, maybe even today, we could see a massive breakout. So let's watch this stupid video and see if they play nice today. That'd be interesting, right? If the narrative is already changing. Oh, let's give them some volume.
Talk about that next. Ben, it's been a busy few days for Elon Musk. First, he went all out for former President Trump at a rally in Pennsylvania. Then Tesla unveiled its robo-taxi and the shares promptly tanked. Then SpaceX pulling off a daring mid-air rocket catch over this weekend. We're going to talk about...
Yeah, one of the most monumental moments in history of space travel just occurred this weekend. Only surpassed by the moon landing, really. This is the physics involved with what was accomplished over the weekend are fucking amazing. And yeah, we'll see what they have to say. Should be fun.
All of it with Musk biographer Walter Isaacson. Stay tuned. You're watching Squawk Box, and this is CNBC.
Oh, is that real? Are we jumping? Fuck you. All right, going back. See these morons. They're almost back. All right, I think we're live. We'll wait here for a second, and I'm just going to see if I can get this pulled up real quick, guys. Got to get the Bitcoins up in here. Anyway, keep talking. I'll try and look at chat here. Oh, I should probably enlarge the screen in front of me for font size. SoFi at 944. Yeah, I've been saying for a while that was going to break out. It looks like it's doing it, huh? Okay, Iran's foreign minister just announcing Tehran has stopped its indirect talks with the U.S. and Oman. Oh, no. Oh, no. Iran's so scary. Oh, here we go.
Welcome back to Squawk Box. Futures about where they've been for most of the pre-market session. Dow is a little weaker, off about 86, but the NASDAQ, a solid S&P, up a little. And the Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ coming off their fifth straight positive weekend with bank earnings kicking off last Friday. The financials saw their best day since all the way back in November.
Meantime, I want to talk about how things have ended in China today for the country's CSI 300 index, up close to 2%. Chinese property stocks jumping today after Beijing laid out more support measures for that sector, I should say, over the weekend. But a press briefing now by China's Ministry of Finance seeming to underscore how officials are focused on tackling local government debt problems.
Yeah, guys, put all your money in China. Great idea. They're going to be fine, honestly. You know what? Just 3 years of COVID lockdowns for no fucking reason. Basically putting people in a bunch of jail cells, too, that they built all over the country. Like, that made everybody really optimistic. Preventing them from being able to have more than one child for over a decade. Super brilliant idea. Really helps with that demographic cliff. And now with all the capital outflows occurring and with no businesses being created anymore and then no service economy to speak of and then losing 50% of the value of your home with no hope of it ever coming back while you're indebted by a system that doesn't really have a bankruptcy court, what's to go wrong? Buy China.
Than stimulus that investors are hoping for. Separately, new data showing today that China's imports and exports both missed expectations last
horribly.
Month.
We'll go over that in a second.
I don't know how that would fit into this sort of David Tepper modeling of all of this.
Yeah, and
sorry, I'm redoing this
a
little
long
bit.
way for us to know exactly what's happening over there. And
Say the
you
fuck
know
out.
what? Be nice if I keep checking. He hasn't told me, whether he's got any updates. Have you heard from him at this point?
I have not. I've been waiting by my phone.
Xi Jinping.
I was looking at my phone before.
Short term, it was a great call, great move. I don't know what long. And then if you listen to Kyle Bass, he says you're picking up
Kyle's right.
Dimes in front of a bulldozer.
Right. Yes, he's right. Listen to him.
Wall Street, we talked to one guy.
So Kyle Bass might have been talking a lot of shit about China for a very long time, and he might have been really early, right? That happens with people. I mean, some people pick PayPal way too early. I don't want to name names. But that happens sometimes, but it doesn't mean they're wrong. So that's the important thing that I think a lot of people don't understand, is that just because somebody's early doesn't mean they're wrong. And it behooves you to understand that and to figure that shit out, whether or not there's truth in the signal. I think I got this actually right. I think I got it right. Look down at the bottom. Down at the bottom. Oh, you know what? It's a little short. It's a little short now that I think about it. But that doesn't make them wrong. And Kyle Bass is definitely right on the subject of China. He's one of the first people I started to listen to. He doesn't necessarily delve into all the weeds to tell you why you need to worry about China, but he does a pretty good job with just letting you know what's going on in there. Oh, 400 maybe? 400? That's pretty good. Let's see. Should we call that? We'll call it. That's a little high, though. I'm going to have to shrink it. All right, let's do this maybe, and then I'll give her a little shrinky-dinky. Sorry, I should have done this earlier. Oh, right there maybe? I think that's beautiful. We're just going to save that bitch. All right, there we go. All right, there we go. We got Bitcoin in the corner. So let's see if they actually talk about Elon. I don't know. They made it sound like they were going to.
Guy who has trying to use AI to pick stocks, and it's called like the Livermore Fund or something. Remember the guy who, lost all of his money and was, I think he killed himself. Wall Street hedge funds are competing for
that's fun.
An edge using AI, finding new ways to try to beat the markets. Kate Rooney joins us now with more on that story.
All right, this sounds like a stupid fucking segment. Anybody who's using AI to beat the markets just tells me that, in the future, that might be a thing. Especially with algo trading and stuff like that. Maybe there's like AI-related formulas that can help you out a lot that'll tell you, what news is happening and whether it's good or bad a millisecond quicker. Stuff like that can be beneficial, but, I'll use AI, but the whole fun thing, like, fuck that. That's just stupid as shit. All right, so we're going to jump over. Again, lots going on today. Let's look real quickly at the crypto, or I'm sorry, the stock market, Fear and Greed Index. I want to talk about that. So again, right at the borderline of extreme greed. We talked about this last week about how this could continue to go higher. Guess what it did? Fascinating. And how that could continue for a longer period than people realize, just because of what can happen historically, where we look over here and we saw, there's a period over here where we're just right here in June 5th of 2023, and we were up in this range, guys, all the way until July 24th. So this is like 7 weeks of really overextendedness, and it can happen. And again, over here, look at this. If you look at this time frame right here in the beginning of the year, starting in we're at levels we were in December of 2023, and that uptick in the S&P lasted all the way until March. So that's 3 months, right? 3 months of just upside, even though we were in the overextended range and we were kind of going down. So I think sometimes people get a little too caught up with the fear and greed, just looking at it at face value and not realizing that it can still keep going. So that's something I would definitely caution you on. I want to look real quickly. The CME Fed Watch tool probably hasn't changed too much, but 85% chance of one cut in November, 78%, almost 79% chance of one cut in December. That's all good. That's right in line with what we're looking at. Real quickly, I'll jump over to the economic data for China, because this is fascinating. So let's look at it. And let me just look at comments here real quick, make sure I'm not getting too far behind. Ethan Baddock, and I might just skip ahead a few. Ethan Baddock, so if I miss anything, you'll have to do it again. Jesse, Antonio says, Jesse Morning saw that MicroStrategy holding is relatively small. It is now, and I need to update my portfolio. I'll try and do it today. It's much lower today. I still own a bunch, like in other investments. I have about maybe 50,000, I think, in MicroStrategy related investments. But yes, it's gotten a lot smaller. I don't like and we'll talk about that in a second too. I don't love the NAV premium on it right now. It was 2.63 last week, 2.637. I don't know. Maybe it's there right now. I doubt it. I actually think it's probably heavier than that. So we're getting to really, if you look over here, we're getting to really overbought conditions. So if you look over here, the premium was stupid high. I wouldn't, whenever you have new funds and you have lack of liquidity, you can get these really crazy premiums. But that was a long time ago. That's not happening anymore. If you look historically, even in the 40s and 50s, you'd see where this premium got all the way up to like 3.7. But that was 2/9 of 2021. So that was 3.5 years ago. So that's not happening again. The next closest one was 2/8 of 2021. Again, that's over 2.5 years ago. A lot of these levels that you see are in 2021. They're nothing that's happened recently. If you look at the more recent levels, they're like October of 2024. So, and we're nearing the levels where it was like peak euphoria and where Michael Saylor sells, or I should say this, he issues convertible debt or whatever he does, right? And so he's probably looking to dilute here soon and buy more Bitcoin. And that's brilliant for him. But when he does that, the act of selling the shares creates a cascading event that could drop the price 10 or more percent very, very quickly. So I just think that people should be aware of that. It's overextended. The narrative's been in MicroStrategy. It will shift over to shitcoins. It's just the natural process of things. I want to look at Tesla real quick this morning too. And then we'll get back over to China because we do have a lot to talk about. So Tesla up 1.12%. Again, this is what I'm looking to have happen today, guys. And maybe it's not today. Maybe it's tomorrow. I don't really care. But I could see us going up into the high 220s. And maybe it takes a couple days to happen, but we will fill that gap before we hit resistance and figure out what to do. I think maybe we could stay down here for a little bit, and here's why. I think that we want to see what happens with earnings. If earnings just suck ass, then we could go down to the 200 level and hang out there for a while. That's where the 200 moving average is on the daily. It's got a downward trend, which is helpful for us. It increases the likelihood that it can be turned into support. That's where we have our next big tranche of economic data. All right, not economic data, volume profile, something completely different. But that's where we have the next big support range. And I think that would be the ultimate bottom if earnings suck. Okay. So I'm not saying earnings will suck, but we know from a highlight of just like the energy part of the business that they could underperform. But at the same time, if they've done a really good job with their ramp and they said they were going to reach profitability before the end of the year, maybe that hasn't happened yet on the Cybertruck, then they could have an outperform too. Either way, though, I think Bitcoin's going to do good and I'm going to make a bunch of money. So I'm excited about that. Spencer Romero, SoFi Technologies enters a $2 billion agreement with Fortress Investment Group. Awesome. I gotta publish that real quick. Thank you very much for sharing that. That is great to hear for SoFi. Again, you're going to see this one going higher. You're going to see a lot of them go higher. People that are in Palantir are going to be like, "Damn it! Why didn't I buy SoFi or something else or Bitcoin or all these other things?" They're going to say that. No stress, invest. You just got a little boost here. I don't know. Do you have a good following? Let's see here. 925 people. Now you got a little more visibility. So there you go. Let's see here. SoFi. I haven't clicked that one in a while. Very happy to. Thank you again for that. Soaring Shitty says, couldn't overextend MicroStrategy, shift to miners. Yes, that's exactly what will happen. That's my point. That's why you don't chase. You wait for the next thing because it comes to you. Justin, couldn't the NAV go down if BTC goes up? Well, yes, it could. It could. But then again, you're looking at potential underperformance, whereas you could see overperformance from miners that are down over 60% from their recent highs at the beginning of the year or even March. So you want to be in those, the thing that has the lower market cap that can outperform because this other thing is overbought. Does that make sense? Poo-poo train. Do you know Soaring Shitty, Poo-poo train? Just jumped in here to say hi to you all and give a like. Hit the like, people. Come on. We'll watch later. Got to see. See, I can't wait to be able to use Snoop Dogg for that. I want to have Snoop Dogg reading off what Poo-poo train has to say. I think that's just going to be kick-ass. I'm very excited about it. Jonathan, bro, SoFi. Oh, yep. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. I'm very happy for all you guys. Like I've said, and let's just pull up SoFi here real quick. We'll look at the chart, and then we'll get into Chinese stuff. I'm just trying to do a mix here of bouncing between comments and what you guys are curious about. So, yeah, 6.6 or 7%. We're up here. So we blew past that first fib level. We're above all the moving averages under the lower time frame. The only thing, if you go to the weekly, we got the 200 up above us now. It's finally formed in the 10 range. So we're very quickly, I've said this before, getting up to the 930. I think with this new news, I wouldn't be surprised if we start testing up to the 200 moving average before we retrace a little bit, before we make our run to 1140 to the $12 range back over here. I said this was going to happen in short order, and that appears to be what is happening. So again, we're going to be testing up here, guys. 1150 is not far off for SoFi, and to everybody that's participated in that, congratulations. I'm very stoked for you. All right. Again, SoFi's doing a little better than Palantir today, right? A little better than Palantir. And let me just do this. I want to expand this since we don't have a good view into pre-market that's live. We're going to leave it here. So MSTX is the winner so far. SoFi is next. The 2X, so the 2X funds are winning. SoFi is right with that. And then it looks like Iron and CleanSpark. So I'm glad I bought all that Iron last week. It looks like those are coming in next. Mara's right in there. Bitfarms is in there. Cypher's in. Basically all the miners I own are near the top, which is great. I love to see that. So that's good stuff. All right. Let's see what else we have here. Justin, in relation to miners and FASB accounting rules, what was Bitcoin's price at the end of Q3? Curious what it'll look like on their balance sheets. A lot of them are already doing FASB accounting rules because it was voluntary at the start of last year. Now, MicroStrategy isn't doing FASB accounting rules, and they'll be forced to do it at the beginning of next. Isn't that fun? Stephen Toro, have you seen all the bull case people like Jeff and others make of MicroStrategy? Yeah, I've listened to all of them. I would listen to Fred. Fred understands the mechanics behind it more, even though somebody was shitting on him because he went to Stanford or something. I don't know. Victor, Akash looking for group. Congrats. FDA pooped. Haha. And don't get me wrong, Bitcoin, like the system that Michael Saylor has, is he's going to be one of the richest people in the world, and MicroStrategy will be one of the largest companies on earth. I'm not disputing that. Okay? I do believe that all of that is true. What I'm disputing is whether or not now is a good time to buy it. When you look here and you're at some of the highest levels for the NAV in recent history, outside of times in 2021 and going into the Wayback Machine of 2020, and that doesn't really count, right? When they first converted over. These are all wonderful numbers, but they were all numbers when they first started buying Bitcoin. We're abnormally high right now. Can we go higher? Yes. You can see here, the second order regression that he shows here that curves up will be beneficial to MicroStrategy's price, right? There's a reason that curve is up. It's because of the fact that they keep buying Bitcoin and stacking it, and it gives them a multiplier to the upside. We've talked about this before, but it can only do so much. It doesn't do magic. It doesn't do magic. It doesn't absorb the entire supply of Bitcoin at the same time. So that you guys get these happy numbers of like 10x NAV. I listened to some dipshit talk about. That's just moronic. It's fucking stupid. Why would anybody buy an asset that is 10x the underlying Bitcoin that they hold? Why the fuck would you do that? You'd have to be a moron. So just remember these things, okay? Remember these things. They're very important. You need to understand them. All right, let's go to China's economy real quick and talk about it. So looking at India, food index year over year, 9.47 versus 3.6 forecast. Fuel, negative 4.05. They're probably benefiting from just, again, Russia's falling apart. I won't go into all that today. But they're probably benefiting from lower fuel costs because of things like that. They can refine the fuel themselves. They get it from Russia for cheap. Soon it looks like they're going to get it from Iran for cheap. That'll probably help them too. India will be a direct benefactor of the deflation coming out of these fucking countries. Inflation year over year was 1.847. It was forecast at 2. So they're in the ones for their inflation. That's phenomenal. If you look back over here, they didn't really get the crazy levels. Oh, I mean, they did get them briefly. They got up to 17% or something. But then look at the crash. And so they're benefiting from all that deflation coming out of China and these other countries that I've been talking about for a while. Now, their manufacturing year over year was 1%, so it's dragging a little bit. But if you look at this, though, at least it's had that nice bounce coming out of June 2023. So for a year plus, they've been enduring a nice bounce. You will not see this in China. Now, let's skip the balance of trade with China. Actually, it did. This is kind of interesting. So the balance of trade was slightly lower than forecast, which is good. What I think it will happen is I think we're topping out here. You can kind of see a little bit of a topping, and I think we're getting ready to roll over, kind of similar to what happened in 2015, except it's going to be more dramatic. I think you'll see more and more manufacturing out of China start to roll over. Maybe it won't be dramatic in the bottoming. I think we could actually be flatter for a period of time. And the reason I think that is because China, people will benefit from getting their manufacturing from China as their economy fails because they'll be selling things for so dirt cheap. So there's going to be some beneficial aspect of that. Thank you to the 400 people that are here. If you guys could hit the like, it would be greatly appreciated. It helps the channel. When you help me, I hopefully will have better tools for you and can really get through these things quicker and give you guys short, summarized videos and just better content through better tools that are more informative and telling. Yay. All right, so exports and imports, though. Let's look at this. This is pretty brutal. So we missed forecasts. The actual for this last week, for September, was 2.4%. It was supposed to be 7% forecast and 6% consensus. And so we're down to like neutral levels. And if you look here historically, guys, look at even the 90s. Look at the 2000s. Look at the 2010s. Outside of the great financial crisis, they've done a pretty good job ebbing higher here. You could start to see where the pain started in China. And it was like the 2015-16 range. And then again, they had that pandemic-related issue. But then they spiked really good, and that kept them above water. But the actual trend is down. It's down. And it has been really, it started after their peak in 2010. And then outside of a couple little hiccups, the trend is just not good. And that's only going to get worse in the times ahead. And so their exports, people aren't buying. That's painful for them. And you can see it even more in their imports because their imports are non-existent. So again, we can only go back to the 90s here too, but look at all this time up here in these ranges and the 25% like increases, just ridiculous levels of increase, right? Well, that hasn't happened. We haven't seen anything substantial since 2021. That's the last time. And then we just got this little bounce in January 2024 with massive amounts of stimulus. Outside of that, it's completely rolling over in a way that nobody is ready for, but will benefit the world. So that's China. New yuan loans, those ticked up. Let's look at that real quick. So loans ticked up a little bit, which is good. It's good for the struggling places that are just going to die, right? It's going to help them stay alive just a little bit longer. But you can already see the trend here. Look at how the loans used to look, guys, and then look at the volume now and the direction it's heading in since like 2022. It ain't good. It ain't good at all. Money supply is expanding. We like that. We like that in China because it just creates capital outflows. You can see it really starting to turn up. And I do think China could release some new stimulus programs. So just don't buy China. Just buy Bitcoin because that's where all the money will go. Outstanding loan growth didn't really increase. It's actually lower than consensus. And really the rest of these figures are bullshit. India's inflation rate, 5.49%, actual official inflation rate, not the WPI. It looks like is slightly higher after having some down months. But again, for a growing country like India, that's not a bad thing. Mexico, their consumer confidence dropped a little bit to 47.1 versus 48 for the forecast. But if you look here, the overwhelming trend is up. I mean, look at this. Look at Mexico, guys. Look at that trend. We're going all the way back to 2000, pretty much, the .com bubble, and look at how much better Mexico is. You can see how all the growth getting. You can see the death of China. The death of China. China was really benefiting here, and their manufacturing went down. The death of China is directly benefiting Mexico, and you'll see that get better and better and better. All right, let me get back to comments here real quick. We're going to look at, let me hop back over here too. We'll look at the heat map and just see what it's looking like. We've got about 44 minutes until market open. And it's looking pretty good here, guys. Again, Tesla's up. NVIDIA's up. Everything's really up. Let me see if I can change this view. Yeah, okay. So everything's really looking good. NVIDIA is continuing, and the NVIDIA chart looks great. There's a bunch of stuff I've still got to do too in Discord. I'm just behind. I wanted to enjoy my weekend, but Mike Lauck says Tom Lee was on CNBC earlier. We can take a listen to him. Can we? Yeah, we could do that. It looks like CNBC also has the guy who wrote the book about Elon Musk talking right now. Let's look at this. I think, though, with CNBC, we can probably get it off of Tom Lee's. So let's just pull up Tom. That'll save me some time. There's my boy. Let's see here. Where's your CNBC? Always. I love this man. So normally I'd have to pull that from CNBC and do all that shit. Ooh, I like his hair today. It's looking It's looking very Ancient Alien. One of my favorites. All right, cool. Let's listen.
Let's get to the markets. Following last week's inflation data, Tom
Oh, what did I do?
Lee's here, managing partner and head of research at Fundstrat Global Advisors, as well as a CNBC contributor. Tom, in recent appearances, I would say that your conviction hasn't necessarily been quite as strong as it had been.
Basically, Tom Lee started to bitch out a little bit when I was still bullish, but that was a coin flip, so I won't get too cocky.
Some of your other calls.
And it could still revert. It could still get weird.
Where there's been a time where
not for Bitcoin, though.
You said the inflation data will be so good that the S&P will be up 200 points in the next week, and it panned out, and it played right into what you were saying. The last time you were on, I think your basic thesis was that market's still solid through the end of the year, but in the meantime, there could be some volatility and maybe even a pullback. Now I think you're saying it's been more stable than what you're expecting, and it has to do with liquidity and cash on the sidelines more than anything else.
That global liquidity. Thank you, Michael Howell. Thank you very much.
Yes, that's right.
And the cash on the sidelines is totally Tom Lee. He's been talking about that for ages.
You're right. We've kind of been sort of, I think, fooled by seasonality because we thought markets would be hesitant before, the elections, and it's October, but
But the problem is Tom Lee is turning into the narrative sometimes. He's so big now that people are starting to counter trade Tom Lee, which kind of makes sense. Again, if everybody's in the same boat, if everybody listens to Tom Lee, if everybody takes direction from Tom Lee, it becomes problematic. Like, I hope that day never comes for me because then every time I say something, people will do the opposite of it. I don't think that's going to happen all the time for Tom. He's directionally very right and very good at timing, but it makes it trickier for people like him because he was right. That's probably what should have happened. Seasonality should have been an issue, and it wasn't. And so normally he's just spot on, and it bit him a little bit. And that's probably going to happen to him more because he is a very popular analyst right now. Or investment, whatever the fuck. What are you, Tom? I don't even know. But the inverse Jesse, that could happen in the future if I get big enough. You just have to watch out for that, right? Because people can start to counter trade you because you become too big. And God, if that becomes a problem for me, sweet.
we've seen
No guarantees there.
this market be incredibly resilient. So I've underestimated how strong this market's been. I think it really shows macro data is becoming less important. And it's now the fact that a lot of cash has been on the sidelines.
I've been calling that. Thank you, Michael Howell.
Last 2 years, investors expected a recession, or many thought when the curve uninverts, we got a recession. But at the end of the day, there's $6 trillion of cash on the sidelines, and October has turned out to be a great month.
And the world is printing money. That $6 trillion on the sidelines is nothing in comparison. If Nvidia went up 200%, that entire $6 trillion would be gone. Okay, so that's just to give you some idea of how little of money that is when compared to this massive market cap that just isn't going to move very well in the future. Not that it won't go up. I actually think Nvidia is going to have really great earnings for quarters and quarters and quarters, maybe years, right? But there's it's not that much money, but the global liquidity supply, when central bankers are dropping rates like crazy, when you have the pumping coming out of China, the second largest economy in the world, and then you also have the U.S. playing a bunch of money games too with our central bank while we wait for the fiscal. So there's fiscal and monetary expansion. Monetary expansion is the central bank, right? They're doing tricks in order to be able to increase the money supply, increase liquidity. But fiscal will come up soon too, and fiscal is the slower path. That's where you get Congress involved, and you get the president and all these people. Whoever gets elected, we're going to see fiscal picking up into next year as well. So you'll have monetary and fiscal expansion across the entire world while rates are dropping and all this debt is being issued that is fractional reserve debt, where only maybe 5% or 1% of the debt being issued actually needs to be sitting in the bank. It's fucking insane, but the money supply will just increase dramatically. And this is the game. This is the play, guys. This is what's happening. Some people might not be able to articulate why it's happening, but they know it's coming, and that's what's happening. Hims up 10%. Akash really loves Hims. He's been doing the erectile dysfunction stuff, and he's getting really good hair growth results too. So we appreciate you, Kash. I'm very excited for you, and I'm glad you're getting it up this morning. 10%. Awesome. Good job.
We've seen it, evidence of what you're saying, and I know how closely you watch it. We've seen it on a daily basis over the last, I'd say, maybe a month or so, where many days we're even down triple digits in the futures, only to end up 250 or 300 points by the end of the session. And with no backdrop of positive news, nothing to account for it, other than it seems like there's money on the sidelines coming in.
I mean, it feels like investors are underinvested in stocks. I think there's people who've dreaded 2024, thinking this is the year we slip into a recession, and instead, and we're seeing it with earnings, companies have been really resilient.
Yeah, we waited to retest the lows a couple of times in 2022 and 2023, and people weren't bullish at all. We didn't get great advances, and now it's almost unstoppable.
Sorry, Akash.
And nothing seems to be able to knock it off a track, whether it's, I think the PPI and CPI were both a little hotter than people thought. The prospects for a Fed continued easing cycle are now open to some conjecture, I think, although most people say it's still going to happen, even though things are pretty solid in both the economy and the stock market.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes...
Oh, you know what? I think, sorry to interrupt, Tom Lee. I don't mean, there's a conversation in chat between Livelyfoot and Martin, who are on X, saying, hey, and Livelyfoot was asking that I make it to where he can close the app and still play it. I actually think that that's something like if you're a premium X person, and I don't know, Martin or you, I think if you have premium on X, you get the ability to do like the playing and like the reduced size screen, and also, and I could be wrong, but I think that's the way it works. So if you're not premium, you might not get all the features that you're thinking about. Just like YouTube, they do the same kind of thing. So just so you know, that I don't think that's a setting I can control at all.
Sense for the Fed to be dovish, just because inflation is still tracking, especially PCE, towards their 2% target. And now we have some concerns about the job market. So I think the Fed has to be supportive. And I think this election, which is becoming less of a coin toss, I think because it's been a coin toss, people have been sitting on their...
You know what he's saying by that? Trump is going to win. That's the way it looks right now. And I've got to do another election video, but it looks strongly like Trump is going to win, which is why you see Kamala Harris out there actually doing like town halls and doing interviews. Even though they're softball, she's just sucking it up, and it's creating... David Sachs said this in an All-In podcast weeks ago. He said, eventually Kamala will have to go out and talk, and she's an idiot. And again, I feel this way. This is my political view. Deal with it. She's an idiot, and that will hurt her. And so far, that appears to be what's happening. And he said it will create a downward spiral where she'll try and correct herself and get better. I don't know if you guys saw Tim Walz with his shotgun. It was so funny. I don't even know if he's ever held a gun in his life. It was just so poorly done. But I think he was trying to really get a connection with the gun owners. Because people didn't believe Kamala when she said that she knows how to handle a Glock, and that she did it. Like, I didn't believe her. I could tell she's lying. But so it just appears... Elmer Fudd, thank you. Time, direction, volatility. So I think it's really damaging their campaign, and I think that's making it where people are like, oh, bitch, we're gonna win this. And now everybody still needs to work hard for that to happen, but I think it's becoming too big to rig. The polling data is really leaning that way, especially across the swing states. So shit's getting weird, and I think the markets are getting excited about that. And I've been saying that for a while. Trump is definitely going to be Trump. When you hear Trump, think pump, and that is what we're seeing. And as long as that trend continues, we're going to see it. We're going to see it get better. Justin, I'm a gun guy. Tim Walz during his debate against and then he's like, oh, how do you? Let's see, shove things in here. How does this work? It was really bad. He should have at least practiced. They should have given him some like pointers from a pro or something. You'd think they'd fucking do that. I don't know. Anyway, let's listen. We have 7 seconds.
Hands. I think these are reasons markets are starting to have conviction.
I agree.
Even in front of an election event.
I think we've soft pedaled.
That's about the most political thing I've heard Tom Lee ever say. He's very smart. He's not like me. He doesn't voice opinions that are not popular. Also, if you guys are here, there's this little thing down here in X. It's wonderful. Let me show it to you. It's called My Video, and I'm going to put it to the top, and I'm going to add it to my highlights. And if you guys comment underneath, along with the other 2 people that already have, then it helps promote it, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right, let's go back here. We got a lot to talk about. So we covered China. Let's look over here real quick. So I want to go into SpaceX and Tesla, and we'll get to Bitcoin. We'll get to all the other stuff. Everything's going up today. I think we can all agree on that, right? Everything is going up. And you know what I might do? Instead of just, well, no, I really got to show it here. Can I do this instead? Let me see here. If I just bring this, that doesn't really make it easy, but maybe if I pull this over and I do this, you guys can see your everythings at the same time as Bitcoin. Would that make you happy? Would that make you guys happy? If you could see your everythings, maybe if I increase the size. I'm going to have to make this bigger then. Oh, no, I can't go too big. Okay, so extended hours. Now you guys can see at least the ones that are performing the best, okay? And you got your Bitcoins. So we got everybody happy. All right, so let's go off on Tesla. Because I got shit to say, okay? So what did you get done this week? Well, let's see. What did Tesla do this week?
We can see those chopsticks now.
And SpaceX. Just definitely you guys. Sorry about that. Probably do this so you guys don't go deaf.
Absolutely insane.
There we go.
The first ever attempt, we have successfully put the Super Heavy booster back at the launch tower. What an incredible view.
So yeah, here's the gist, right? Elon Musk is like a once in 1,000-year person. And if you don't believe me, here's this guy. Here's like a billionaire, along with another successful dude, hanging out with this guy called Jensen Huang. I don't know if you've heard about him. He seems pretty smart too. I still don't know what to make of him. I'm trying to figure it out. But let's listen to them talk about, I don't know, this company called Elon Musk for a second, real quick. And while we do that, I'm already going to go to the bathroom and get myself some coffee. But this is 4 minutes, so I want you guys to hear this because it's important. And again, if Jensen Huang, with one of the biggest companies on earth, one of the most successful companies in the last 2 years, is telling you that Elon is the most amazing person out there, there's probably some signal there. So just give me 1 second and listen to this.
Of course, there's one new entrant that has the money, the smarts, the ambition. That's X.AI, right?
Oh,
and well, there are reports out there that you and Larry and Elon had dinner. They talked you out of 100,000 H100s. They went to Memphis and built a large coherent supercluster in a matter of months.
So first, three points don't make a line. Okay. Yes, I had dinner with them. Causality is.
What do you think about their ability to stand up that supercluster? And there's talk out there that they want another 100,000 H200s, right, to expand the size of that supercluster. First, talk to us a little bit about X and their ambitions and what they've achieved, but also, are we already at the age of clusters of 200 and 300,000 GPUs?
The answer is yes. And then the first of all, acknowledgement of achievement where it's deserved. From the moment of concept to a data center that's ready for NVIDIA to have our gear there, to the moment that we powered it on, had it all hooked up, and it did its first training.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
So that first part, just building a massive factory, liquid cooled, energized, permitted, in the short time that was done. I mean, that is like superhuman.
Right.
Yeah. And as far as I know, there's only one person in the world who could do that. Right. I mean, Elon is singular in this understanding of engineering and construction and large systems, and marshaling resources.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And of course, then his engineering team is extraordinary. I mean, the software team's great, the networking team's great, the infrastructure team is great. Elon understands this deeply. And from the moment we decided to go, the planning of with our engineering team, our networking team, our infrastructure computing team, the software team, all of the preparation in advance, then all of the infrastructure, all of the logistics, and the amount of technology and equipment that came in on that day, NVIDIA's infrastructure and computing infrastructure and all that technology, to training, 19 days.
That's fucking insane.
You know what? You don't want.
Did anybody sleep? 24/7.
No question that nobody slept. But first of all, 19 days is incredible. Mm-hmm. But it's also kind of nice to just take a step back and just, do you know how many days 19 days is? It's just a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Right.
And the mountain of technology, if you were to see it, is unbelievable. All of the wiring and the networking and, networking NVIDIA gear is very different than networking hyperscale data centers. Okay. The number of wires that goes in one node, the back of a computer is all wires. And just getting this mountain of technology integrated and all the software, incredible. Right. Yeah. So I think what Elon and the X team did, and I'm really appreciative that he acknowledges the engineering work that we did with him and the planning work and all that stuff. But what they achieved is singular, never been done before. Just to put in perspective, 100,000 GPUs. That's easily the fastest supercomputer on the planet. That's one cluster. A supercomputer that you would build would take normally 3 years to plan.
Right.
And then they deliver the equipment, and it takes 1 year to get it all working.
19 fucking days. 19 days. People think that Elon Musk isn't going to figure out full self-driving and that, the robots were partially teleoperated. You guys, I don't know what to say. This is one of the most brilliant people on the planet, several of them actually, telling you that Elon did something in 19 days that can take years or half a decade to plan out and implement. 19 days. Oh.
Yes.
We're talking about 19 days.
Wow.
What's the credit of the NVIDIA platform, right? That it's the whole processes are hardened.
That's right.
Yeah.
Everything's already working. And of course, there's a whole bunch of, X algorithms and X framework and X stack and things like that. And we got a ton of integration we have to do. But the planning of it was extraordinary. Just pre-planning of it to,
N of one is right. Elon is an N of one.
So yeah, maybe a little bit of signal there for Tesla. Maybe a little bit, guys. And in my boy Banana 3 stocks said Tesla stock will actually be invigorated by this. Why? Banana. It has nothing to do with it. Oh, I can't wait to get Snoop Dogg's voice in here. Seriously. Can you guys imagine our Mr. Beast or something? I need to get that working quickly. And it summarizes Speechify also too, at least on mobile. I don't know if it does it on the Chrome extension. It will take whatever you're like. So I pulled in Michael Howell's latest with China related stimulus and what's going on there, and I had it go ahead and pull that up and read it to me. But then I saw an AI button in there. I hit that. It summarized it down to 25% of what the original message was. Thank you, BGZ, for the $10. Really appreciate you, brother. MSTX and TSLL arbitrage is going to be sick. I agree. That's actually probably a really simple way of playing that. That could be really sweet. I agree. And both of them are going to do well, but it's just, again, at different times, right? So that sounds awesome. But what was I talking about? Damn it, I lost my thought. Yeah, just anyway, that Tesla will benefit from these actions. Oh yeah, Speechify. So it took this content, which was like 10 minutes worth of content read out loud, and turned it into 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes. And it did a really good job summarizing it because I'd already listened to the full thing before I clicked the fucking button. And it just blows my mind. So I'll be able to absorb more information at less time, which is like the dream, right? being able to have a greater understanding of the world, automate as much of it as possible. And so Speechify, again, is just tripping my triggers. It's my baby right now, guys. It's my baby. All right, let's look here. So cumulative achievements have a side effect of unbound success. The trials accomplished here over the errors will translate to the entire engineering bar raised across the suite of Elon's businesses. Achieving another literal milestone in human history is not whom you bet against and short sell. This will be clear problems starting tomorrow. I agree with this, actually. And maybe it's not as big over the next week because, again, we have earnings next Wednesday, and we could still have some pain ahead for Tesla, and I'm okay with that. It's up 1.31% in pre-market, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with MSTX underperforming in the future. I'm okay with miners outperforming. Again, CleanSpark up 5.42% ahead of Iron, which is ahead of Mara. And then Ethereum is doing good in there too. It looks like starting to play catch up. And then Cypher's next, Bitfarm's next. But my favorite miners are all near the top of the list, which is right where I want them. But that said, I'm not going to just scream about them all the time from the rooftop because they will all take their turns. But I want to add something to this Tesla comment over here from Banana, is that it's not just the cumulative success that'll add up. The narrative in people's mindset will be like, and they'll finally be like, hey, wait, if Elon can land big rocket and catch with little chopsticks, maybe Elon do other stuff good too. So I think as the masses start to figure that out, that grown men weep because of what this man can do. That they'll realize that there's amazing stuff coming ahead for Tesla. Now, I'm okay if they wait another week. I would love to see Bitcoin. I was gonna do Tesla go high and buy Bitcoin stuff, but that plan got turned on its side last week on Thursday. Friday morning. So whatever. So now it's just the other direction, right? And I'm very much okay with that. Now, I do want to show you something else. So let's just look at this. This is SpaceX, the 1 million square foot Star Factory. I can't wait till I want to live in Starbase City. Brings many parts, or at least Austin, and like have a place there to be a snowbird in Austin, maybe, because I think Elon's just going to build that shit up too. And he's going to create a university there. And he's got a Montessori school that if my daughter could go to a school from Elon Musk, I would be so happy. I would love that. But anyway, the Star Factory brings many parts of the manufacturing process under one roof for the first time, moving as much system integration work as possible earlier in the build process, with the goal of eventually producing 1,000 ships a year. We have a window to go to Mars in 2026. I think Elon's going to try and send one Starship there, maybe load it up with some Optimi. And then our next window, it's roughly every 2 years. Our next window will be 2028, 2030-ish, 31. They'll blur into each other. But look at this. Their goal is to build 1,000 ships a year. So if you guys don't realize this, I'd say by the end of the decade, we will have massive amounts of ships going towards Mars and coming back from Mars, to the point to where it'll just be a train. It'll just be a train of ships going there and back. And you'll see the ones coming back. They'll pass the ones that are going there. And it's going to be like they'll be shooting up 1,000 ships a year worth of payload to build out the city. You got to realize who Elon Musk is. You're going to see an actual, like, full-blown city, maybe a series of cities on Mars in our lifetime if we live long enough. Shmuley Adut, hopefully I got that close, and Elon we trust. And yes, sir, that is very true. I know I do. He's a good dude, man. And again, so let's just listen to this real quick. Oh, we got Eunice Yoon talking from China. You guys know, huge crush on her. So I'm going to be listening to her in a second, too. adjust my audio. Look at that. Top third of this thing. If you're a space nerd like I am, this is just beautiful. Just beautiful. We're going to talk about Tesla more, but we have about 16 minutes until the bell. We got Eunice Yoon talking, and we love Eunice Yoon. I want to listen to her shit on China. There's very few people that have the balls that Eunice Yoon has, which is why we love her. So let's listen to how shitty China is doing from an unfiltered view of Eunice Yoon.
Because they need the power. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So NVIDIA is in a data center which needs Vistra. Right. So, I mean, look, unless Royal Caribbean, though, I mean, is there anything
that
Royal
Caribbean
and Jensen?
No, that has nothing to do with this.
Doesn't seem to be like he's a cruise guy. I mean, he's a lot of things.
Good morning,
chef.
Shapoke.
He's an architect.
We're going to talk more about how this leads to Goldman upgrading equities and in a falling rate environment, what that means for some of the results we've gotten so far.
We will look at other stocks here a little bit later, guys. Just a reminder, though, the market recap is going to be a lot better for that. I'll be very, very brief on additional news-related events. I might have a theme I cover real quick on a market recap, but for the most part, we'll be pulling up stocks and talking about what you guys want to do on the market recap. So it'll be like a hopefully 15 to 20-minute summary from me, and then maybe an hour of us talking about stocks and pulling up charts and stuff. So that'll be the best time to do that. The morning will really be about making sure that we understand the entire macro scene of what's happening, covering major news-related events and topics that I want to talk about, jumping between all the metrics that we need to keep track of in a given day, so we have a really solid picture of what the day brings and what our thoughts are about those things. We will pull up a few stocks, but it'll be a lot less in the morning. Okay. All right. Let's listen to Eunice.
We do want to touch on China, though. Investors digesting the country's weekend press conference regarding more stimulus. Our Eunice Yoon is live in Beijing with the latest. Morning, Eunice.
Hey, Carl. Well, the government is attempting to send a signal to the market that it does indeed want to support the struggling economy. However, it's left investors guessing exactly what the scale and the specifics of that plan is going to be. Over the weekend, the finance minister held a very anticipated press briefing, I should say, and he focused a lot on the need to address the local government debt, saying that these would be the most powerful steps in years to
Local government debt, local government financing vehicles are horrific. There is no fixing them. They're already past insolvency. Like, they're insolvent. There's nothing good there.
Tackle these problems, including like a one-time debt swap program. Also mentioned the effort to address the problems in the property sector, saying that they would expand funding for unsold homes through special bonds that would go.
But who's going to buy them? Nobody needs them. You need to start tearing down all the existing infrastructure before you can even then you got to tear down homes that are fine and that people can live in, because there's no demand. There's no need for them. There's no population. Your population is collapsing, and you have enough homes for what, hundreds million plus people that don't exist. The government will probably start giving away homes to people, but that doesn't help the property sector and it won't help spending. It'll just further communism. But it won't help them at all. In no way will it help them.
Go to the local governments. And then finally, the authorities had hinted that there would be ample room for deficit expansion, so greater government borrowing. Now, some investors were expecting to hear more.
For the people that can go in the Wayback Machine, for the old peeps like me, or the people that are young but old, you remember 2008 great financial crisis. China was how you weathered the storm. And that's all gone. It's all gone. It's all gone. It's all gone. Now they're way more indebted than us. They had such a massive amount of cash, so much cash, and now it's just all gone. SoFi ripping. Yep. SoFi's going to have it good, guys. It was in a breakout zone. It's the flyer today, right? It's in second place, only being beat by MSTX on my list, up almost 9%. So congrats. Finally, Future Invest gets to celebrate some stuff. Congratulations, Tanner. Congratulations, Tavis. I'm happy for you guys.
Most people wanted to see a firm headline figure when it came to fiscal spending. However, others saw the briefing more positively. For example, Bank of America called it a policy pivoting point. And of course, there's still anticipation that we could see some specifics down the road in the coming weeks when there's going to be a committee meeting at the end of this month. Now, the divergent views, as you could expect, played out in the markets, both in Shanghai as well as in Hong Kong and in the U.S. now. The need, though, for this effort became more apparent. We had a series of bad market numbers. For example, the core inflation figure was out over the weekend. It hit a new low since 2021. Export and imports figures came in saying that they were going to grow far less than expected for September. And then the credit and bank growth numbers also hit fresh lows. So a lot of reasons for the government to take some stronger action. Guys?
Thanks to you.
Eunice, we got these possibilities of further stimulus. At the same time, we've gotten reports about government officials detaining Taiwanese manufacturing personnel at a Foxconn plant. Today, Jim mentioned these military exercises, which Taiwan says is a record number of military aircraft, 125.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's led to a lot of confusion about whether or not companies would want to do business here. You mentioned Taiwan. One of the founders of UMC, big chip company, was sanctioned as well. So you have all of this kind of mixed messaging. And in fact, the authorities here just today said that they wanted to help support private business and to try to get rid of, they said, these efforts that sometimes are illegally either detaining people or confiscating goods. Like they want to try to get rid of all of that. And so they said that this is going to help support a private business, but it's, you still need to do a whole lot to get the confidence back up here.
Eunice, back to sort of the question.
Actually, guys, the funny part is that it doesn't matter if confidence comes back. At least around the world and stuff, like they could have capital inflows for a period of time, but it doesn't matter. Their fate is sealed. The only way they come back from it is a leadership change. That's what Druckenmiller was. I think it was Druckenmiller was talking about a week or so ago. Is that he wouldn't touch? Is it Druckenmiller? Fuck, I don't remember. Anyway, is that he wouldn't touch China until there was a new leadership involved in it and the CCP wasn't in control. And that's just the way it is. That's the way it is. And so when you have big money not being willing to do that, you're screwed. And I've got a great slide for SoFi, guys. Right when we get done with China, we'll take a look at that. We've got 9 minutes until the opening bell.
About stimulus and the specifics, as you mentioned. What is going to be a sign, or when are we going to know? It seems obviously it's different there than it is here. So what are we really looking for when it comes to specifics? Do you have to wait and actually see the actions take place?
Well, that's the big question. I mean, a lot of people have been wondering what it's really going to take for the government to come in with bigger action. We know that the authorities here are very concerned about the risks, that they have the memory of the stimulus that they had in place in 2008, 2009. After that crisis, they don't want to have to deal again with those big risks. So they have that on their mind. And also there's a lot of discussions here about whether or not the authorities here, especially Xi Jinping, has an ideological bent that, he's talked about how he doesn't like welfareism, what he's described as welfareism, so doesn't want to give out.
He runs a communist fucking state, and he doesn't like welfare programs? Oh, shit. Sorry.
Handouts. So there's a lot of discussion as to that perhaps that's another reason why.
He literally wants to be like Chairman Mao, and he doesn't like welfare programs. I'm sorry, it's just so funny.
Appears that the authorities here have been slow walking a bigger stimulus.
But Eunice, I'm confused to follow up with what David's saying.
All right, real quick. Joseph said, are you buying more Tesla Leafs? I did buy $140,000 worth on Friday. I feel like that's a pretty good amount. Am I buying more today? Probably not. I do think it's probably going to go up a decent amount today, though. Sorry, that communism thing. Just so funny. Doesn't like welfare programs. Anyway. Yeah, so I probably won't buy more today, but I do think that the stuff I bought on Friday will probably do all right. Again, I think the big test for Tesla is going to be Wednesday on earnings of next week. I think that's going to be the big one. I'm planning on stacking more, though, so if I make a bunch of money off of Bitcoin, that's the goal. Let's see here. Soaring Shitty, I happen to have the best time to learn the stock market from hope to nope and back up. That's great. This is the time to learn it and learn from everybody else's mistakes so that you don't repeat them. You don't want to be me in 2008. Trust me.
You can buy back all the stock you want. I don't know how much stock people have there, but it's the apartments that go down makes it so it's deflationary. Unless your apartment...
60% of people's wealth in China is in their real estate.
It goes up.
And most of them own more than one house, which is problematic, right?
Why would you buy an apartment? And isn't the stock market too small to impact China?
Well, the stock market impacts China in the way that people look at the sentiment, right? So, the authorities here have been jumping in, kind of trying to prop up the market here, and that helps to boost sentiments, which is kind of what they're trying to do, which is to boost confidence here. But as you said, most people don't have their money in the stock market. Very, very few people actually, and more people would be putting their money.
It doesn't benefit the economy. The only thing they're trying to do is draw in Western money to keep their businesses afloat. And Bloomberg and Goldman Sachs, among others, I think Goldman's on the list, Blackstone for sure, Ray Dalio, all those kind of people, they're trying to draw you in because they need exit liquidity, because they know they need to get the fuck out. They finally figured that out. Evidently, they weren't watching micro to macro, but they figured that out, and they know they need to get out of the markets. But at the same time, they need exit liquidity, and they can't get it from people in China because they're becoming too poor. And so they need it from Western people, which is why you'll continue to see them post positive articles whenever possible to try and get you to funnel into China and think that it's the next great opportunity. I would encourage all of you not to do that.
Money into the property sector, but that continues to decline.
Not financial advice, of course, because I'm just a high school dropout sitting in his basement.
Eunice, busy weekend for you guys. Appreciate you bringing us up to date. Eunice Yoon in Beijing tonight. Let's take a look at the pre-market here as we get this week underway.
City Walk? BD wants an inverse China ETF called City Walk. Okay. Thank you to the 500 people that are here. So that's it. That's it for the China piece. Oh, and I told you that I wanted to show you something. So we will go back to Tesla because I do want to talk about Tesla. I'm sorry. It's going to do great in the future. People are idiots. Oh, from South Park, that figures. That's where that's from. That makes tons of sense. All right, so real quickly, let me shrink this up. I got to refresh over here. Oh, and I got to try the Brave app to get rid of ads. I've been meaning to do that. That's on my list. I got to try that real quickly here on my main screen. Not right now, but later. Real quickly, though, I wanted to show you something. What did I have it in the banking? I probably put it under U.S. economy. Yeah, right there. Okay. So here's what I wanted to show you. I just said, and again, I said proof that Bloomberg can post the truth now and again. OPEC trims its forecast for oil demand growth this year and next for a third consecutive month. That will be a trend that continues. I called that out a while ago. So this is a fun one. So Robbie posted this. It says bank closing branches at fastest rate in 2024. Guys, this is going to sound crazy, but why do we think that SoFi might be up today when you have physical banks with archaic infrastructure and high overhead closing branches everywhere? If only somebody could have told us that physical banks are dead and that they're going to shrink while digital banking grows. If only somebody was pushing that message over and over and over again. Well, here's me 10 hours ago saying there's going to be a ton more of this because and I've been saying this for a long time. Anybody who follows me can say, if Chris is here, Chris is on vacation, whatever. But if people that have been here a long time know I've been talking about this, SoFi, Hood, PayPal, Square, Bitcoin, the Lightning Network for Bitcoin, and X Payments here soon are all doing the same thing, which is destroying banks. Okay? Banks have to adapt. Payment-wise, they're done. Credit card companies like Visa and MasterCard, done. 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 Get that in your thick fucking skull. Okay? Because they're done. They're done. What, do they still have good earnings? Are things still looking good? Yeah, they might be all right for now, but don't own that shit because it's going away. Because nobody needs 2 to 3% fees on credit card transactions. And banks are making more. I mean, they do all right for their lending, but again, they have all this overhead. They have all this overhead from physical locations, physical transfer, just all these problems that are going to be incredibly destructive to them in the years ahead. And companies like SoFi, amongst all the others I listed above, will be beneficiaries of their demise. So get the fuck out. Don't own banks, guys. Traditional banks are losers in the decade ahead. This is garbage. Don't own this shit. Okay? Are we clear? All right, let's just roll through the rest of this real quick while we're here. This is kind of interesting. It's Anthony Pompliano. He said Americans in the Southeast die 10 to 20 years earlier than people in other parts of the country. Shocking when you see it visualized. This could be a lot of things. It can be extreme poverty. There's definitely that. The dirty South down here, lots of poverty. There's hurricanes. There's violent crime, depending upon the big cities that you're living in. I'd say a lot of it, though, is extreme poverty. In warm areas, you can see how people die, right? Especially if they don't have water. But it's very, very interesting that there is a 20-year gap between life expectancy between these southern portions and the warmer portions of our climate and the coasts, and then these other areas. And again, it's not all the way. Look at this. Look at the extreme southern parts of California. It's just fascinating, so I wanted to share it. Let me see. This is just inflation data down to 2%. Yeah, we covered all these others. Let's get out of there. I want to go back to Tesla. I know everybody wants to talk SoFi. Everybody loves to talk about the thing that made them a bunch of money today, but I like to look towards the thing that's going to make us a bunch of money tomorrow. And I already told you SoFi was breaking up. I did my part. So, again, for people who haven't seen it.
We're now down to 3 Raptor engines. We can see those chopsticks now.
Macadilla has popped the booster.
We'll get to the market open. So that was just them catching 1,000-pound or 1,000-ton vehicle plus 1,000 tons. That's 20 stories tall, and just doing it like it's nothing. One sec here. There you go.
Stanley
you guys happy?
It to
Here we are.
underweight. Now I will say you that it is the old cat. The thing. What stock do you want to buy?
Here we go. Market open.
Caterpillar. So I want to not only emphatically disagree with this downgrade. I say to myself, Angel Castillo, wrong.
Let's see. Morgan Stanley's about 10%
So I
below
can take,
consensus for next
I'll
year's
take
earnings.
extended hours
Let's
out.
get the opening bell here in the
There we go.
CNBC Real-Time Exchange. The big board, Markets Media Group's Women in Finance, celebrating the 10th anniversary of its Women in Finance Awards. And at the NASDAQ, it is Micron. New logo and 15 years. Jim, you're going to be talking.
Hearing a lot of stuff about Micron. Oh, Sanjay's talking.
There are people in the business that are.
This will be fun. We'll listen to this later, too. Again, I've got that thesis on Micron. I haven't created a video about it, but...
Finest.
But good stuff, nonetheless. We will pull this up. I did want to show guys down underneath in the bottom right corner. That way. You'll see that I've got, at least in my watch list, my best performing things showing down here. So my MSTX at the top, Injective, a shitcoin, layer 2 for Ethereum. I think a lot of these layer 2s and shitcoins, Bonk is a shitcoin. I think, is that the Solana network? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Cypher's up here. So Iron, SoFi, MicroStrategy, CleanSpark. All of these are doing really good. They're jockeying back and forth. Again, a bunch of Arbitrum, Render, just a bunch of Bitcoin and crypto related stuff doing really well today. Hood up 0.78%. Let's see where Tesla's at. Is Tesla in the red yet? Could be. Maybe I'll have to buy more Tesla. You know what? Let's just pull it up separately. Let's look. Curious. All right. Choose manually. I'm going to have to do that on everything today. That's going to be super annoying. All right. Let me do this. All right. So Tesla up today. Getting a little baby bounce. Little baby bounce. Let me move this up. So Tesla's up 1.28. That ain't bad. It's a little something. But here's what I think could happen. We could have this and a bear flag potentially that drops us down further. Like I said, towards that 200 level. That would be like a decent measured move if things suck at earnings next week. But again, that I think the 200 is really the sweet spot. I will buy the shit out of that range. I'll probably dump another 150, maybe $250,000 into Tesla calls if we get down to that range. And I've done really good on Bitcoin related investments. Nvidia up 2.5%. That's just stupid. How many billions of dollars is that? Just stupid. Stupid. But again, it can do it. Let's sort by percentages here again. Let's see who are the losers. Flux, Biddy, so shorting. TLT is me, Kevin, still in 20-year bonds, guys? Can you guys tell me? Be pretty funny if he is. ARGT's in here too. Gold's a loser. The dollar's probably a loser. U.S. oil's definitely a loser. Silver's losing. Best Buy's losing. A lot of shit losing. But if we look over here, SoFi is in the lead now, guys. I think MSTX is going to start to underperform today. I really do. So that's the kind of thing I wouldn't be super interested in. BITX can still outperform because it doesn't have that net asset value. Again, guys, this is painful. I talked about this multiple times now, but all this history where the NAV is stupid high is a very fucking long time ago when there was no liquidity in MicroStrategy, and you could get that to happen. There is a lot of liquidity in MicroStrategy right now. The market cap is $43 billion. What is Mara's? What is Mara's market cap? It's like a fraction of that. And it's the biggest Bitcoin miner, right? So let's just look here at Mara. Mara is a $4.9 billion company. So it is 10% of the size, not even. A little over 10% of the size for market cap of what MicroStrategy is. So again, the financials, the smaller size, this will be beneficial to something like MicroStrategy in the days ahead. I hope people realize that. MSTX is only up 4.32 now. It looks like Bitcoin's taken a little bit of a step back. I think all that's perfectly okay. We're going to get our breakout. It's coming. What's Palantir doing today? Up 2%. It really wants to break out higher. It's going to struggle. And again, we could get up maybe to 50. Ugh, I wouldn't want to own Palantir right now, though. I think there's so many other better plays. All right, to the 515 people that are here, I bought Palantir puts. I'm getting wrecked. You shorted it? Oh, yeah, I would at least wait. I would wait. Yeah. I would wait to really see the thing get overextended and give up. Let's just look. I'm going to save Mara real quick. Let's look at Palantir super fast. Then we'll jump back over to Tesla. And we need to talk about all the things that are happening in the Bitcoin world that are super positive too. I hate that I have to do this with everything right now. It's problematic. So, yeah, so incredibly overextended. Look at this right now. So I'm just going to take this off because it broke through its bearish divergence on the RSI on the weekly time frame, but it doesn't matter because now you're in that parabola phase where we're literally at the highest level of RSI in the history of this company on the weekly chart. In the history. There's never been, and again, the divergence down here is all broken. We're in parabola now. So this is the moment where we could go up a little bit, we could get a little bit higher, or we could just grind here for a while and eventually capitulate. But we're at new all-time highs for this company. We're at the highest RSI in the history of this company. On the monthly time frame, we are sitting at almost 78, which 70 is normally overbought on the RSI. So this thing is just fucking insane. And it's going to be a painful ride. Well, I won't say a painful ride, but it's going to be it might be something where, again, you just don't go anywhere for a long time and you have opportunity cost, and that sucks. I'll try not to rub it in too much when I'm right. But it is a $100 billion company. Jesse, could you explain the NAV indicator you showed? Yes. So there's a concept called net asset value. And whenever you have ETF-related investments or things like that, you have a NAV. Grayscale Bitcoin Investment Trust, GBTC, was one I played the NAV off of for a long time because, and some people did this way better than me. They bought big amounts of GBTC at a discount, and then the net asset value immediately made them rich, but they had to hold it for like 6 months. And so they could arbitrage that play and basically buy GBTC at a discount, which is basically the regular price, not including NAV. And then they knew that they'd be able to cash in on the NAV once they waited their 6 months. That arbitrage play worked for years and years and years and years, 2 cycles. So before it blew up. So that was a great play. But essentially all it means is that with MicroStrategy right now, if we look over here, it's 2.637 is what it says right now. So all that means is that they have roughly, it's 2.728 actually with the market open. So a NAV premium of 1 means that for each Bitcoin they hold, and plus the total value of the company, that hey, this is a perfect match. This is exactly what the company is worth. But it's 2.73, which means it's like, let's just say roughly 170, 180% more greater value than its underlying Bitcoin and the value of the company. So it's extremely overpriced. And some people think this is cool. I think it's shit because the last time we were near these levels was 2021. And so it's a shit thing to hold right now. That's what I'm trying to teach people. Hopefully people get that. But it's a shit thing to hold. You don't want to hold it. Don't fuck yourself. Anyway, let me just refresh this here. Oh, got a little bit of a cough. All right, so let's hop over here again real quick. I just want to see how the heat map's doing in current hours. I'm just going to close this out. Intel says 2368. I don't know if that's up or down. Let's turn off pre-market. Let's go to daily. So again, we're seeing some red. Nothing too crazy. NVIDIA and Apple leading today. Some of the big caps leading. I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. Let me refresh this down here. MicroStrategy is severely undervalued. It's the fucking exact opposite. No, it's way overvalued. It's way overvalued. No, it's bad. There's some people saying it can get to 10x. That's just the stupidest shit I've ever heard. 10x NAV would be fucking idiocy. No, it's incredibly overvalued. Now, it's got this regression line in orange indicates that with them buying Bitcoin, that you get a yield for it. And so that's good, right? Because it means as time goes on and Bitcoin goes up, the NAV will drop and become more in line and won't be so crazy. But if you look down here, like again, some of these down here, we've been as low in March 4th of 2024, the NAV was 1.72. So you can see why this thing dropped so fucking hard. And at the end of the cycle, you do not want to be holding this shit. Maybe like 2/3 of the way through, you need to be the fuck out. Like by the next spring to late spring to early summer, you should not own MSTX. Because that premium to NAV will disappear because people will realize that they've got all the juice out of it they can get. If you don't understand these concepts, guys, and you don't believe me, fucking learn, because you'll learn the hard way if you don't listen to me. You will. Believe me. 6x NAV, that's so fucking stupid. I'm sorry, Master the Game. That's fucking the stupidest shit I've ever heard. It's a great way to get wrecked. That's just fucking stupid. You're saying that they should be valued at 6 times the actual Bitcoin they hold. 6 times. There's nothing but air in there, bro. Jesus Christ. I hope you don't believe that. Again, guys, I love MicroStrategy. I love Michael Saylor. I love what he's done for this business. And I love the fact that I just made a shit ton of money off of MicroStrategy in a week. I made $50,000 fucking dollars off of MSTX. And I was able to put some of that back into Tesla this last Friday. That's great. I love the arb play on this. But you shouldn't have been buying MicroStrategy right now. You shouldn't have been doing that. Cam Prague, 3LMI is a great way to get wrecked right now. With this thing being up almost 3x the NAV and then applying a 3x multiplier, you guys are begging to have somebody literally, well, not literally, I can't even say it, whatever. It's too inappropriate. All right. Ugh. Please to God, just don't get wrecked, guys. Don't get wrecked. Don't get wrecked. That's all I'm asking for. I don't ask for much. All right. I gotta go to the bathroom again. I'm such a fucking mess. Whenever I eat bad, I just don't. Anyway, you don't need to know all my medical stuff. All right, 1 second here. Be right back.
Computers.
Right.
And that means they don't need LiDAR. They don't need that thing that's over your,
Do you have I talked to ChatGPT a bit this weekend. Do you have a chosen voice for ChatGPT? Which one do you go with?
I go with everything. I mean, I want it to be more social, like I'm watching a new show, disclaimer. I go to AI because I know it's going to have the social stuff. And Sacha Baron Cohen, I want to look up him.
I chose this female voice, and my wife heard it, and she's like, she's flirting with you. I said, no, she's not flirting with me.
Well, the generation, Jensen Wong told me, the new generation, when you put something in, they're able to go back and forth with you. So, David, I wouldn't rule it out.
They want to continue the conversation, Carl, which I find a little annoying. Like
it's no different
they
than
want more
social
data.
media companies
All right, that was a
who want to
quickie. We're
continue
back.
engagement.
I just
Now,
had a question.
were they talking
We're
about
done.
Tesla?
Or do you like, yeah. It's like,
talking about
you
Tesla?
want more from me so you can...
1 sec here.
No problem, Jim Cramer.
Not sure where
I
we'll
gotta
be
hear
going,
this. Sorry.
given we'll be able to do everything virtually, but I'm sure we'll be heading somewhere.
Well,
I'll get caught up with chat here in a
this
second,
weekend
too, guys.
about
You
this.
were talking to a robot
about
this weekend.
About the Southwest board and who they would pick, and they were at it 100% right. And I said, geez, I can tell.
All right, real quick. I'm going to look at what you guys are saying down here. I want to make sure I was very clear on the MicroStrategy point on why you guys are going to fuck yourselves. And I don't mince words with this because I don't want to see it, okay? I don't want to see people get wrecked because they don't understand what the fuck they're talking about. And you can feel free to disagree with me, but you're wrong. Are you going to hold MicroStrategy shares for the long term or sell them in the spring? I'll sell them all, every bit of it. I've still got I think 50K in MicroStrategy. I got to update my portfolio. I'll do that for everybody that subscribes in Discord and X. But I'll sell it all. I'll get the fuck out. I don't even know that I'll own MSTX again. The only way I would do that is if it gets down sub 2x as a multiplier. And probably, I don't even know if I would then. Like maybe a mid-cycle thing? No, I won't. I won't even do it then. I won't do it then. I won't. You don't want to be on a multiplier by the time summer comes around. You just don't. Victor Hernandez, even I understand what Jesse means. Good. Martin Pillich, should you also leave miners, stock, not options, leverage products at the end of the cycle? Oh, way before the end of the cycle. Yeah. So to be clear, I won't have any options-related Bitcoin plays by the end of spring. I might be mostly out of miners by that time, and I'll be in things that are providing, it depends on how far we go, right? If we get 150K by spring, I will be mostly out of miners, out of all option plays, and out of all leverage, and I will be riding ETF-related things, stuff like that, and I'll be riding the rest of my miners on the way up in case we go to my 280,000 mark, which is what I believe could happen. But all multipliers will be removed. I don't fuck around with that shit. I've learned the hard way not to. Some people never learn. Yes, Master of the Game says yes. I agree with that. RJ Davidson, SMT is a fund I own currently, negative 12% NAV, 4% of the fund in SpaceX. Hold it instead of having a cash position. Interesting. I'll have to look that up. I don't even know that one very well at all. Oh, I hate how my Restream chat crashes every once in a while. I end up losing my X comments. I could pull them up individually, but fuck, it sucks. So if anybody said anything on X that was like recently, you might want to say it again. Even if BTC runs the next 2 months, you just don't add currently to MSTR. Is that what you're saying? MSTR maybe. MSTX, fuck no. MSTU, whatever it is, fuck no. Not at these levels. That 3MLI, like a 3X MicroStrategy fund, fuck no. You don't want to do that. It's very dangerous. Kane, we are all freaked out about MSTR now. You should be. Again, guys, you should be, because these things can wreck you. Now, right now, MSTX is up 10%. MicroStrategy could still run. It can still be the leader. But eventually, soon, maybe it's in the next week, Michael Saylor will sell stock, crash the price 10 to 15%, and then we'll start over again, and then maybe MicroStrategy will be boring for a while. It's outperformed this entire cycle, guys. When you have that kind of leadership, eventually it will break, and especially when we're late cycle, it'll be super broken. Let's just look at this real quick here. Let me just do this. I want to check all these things because I want to show this to you. I don't know what this play thing is on the side. I don't like this little bar. Oh, that's Speechify. Oh, well, I don't want to use that right now. I love that it's there, but I don't want to use it. Let me go back over here. Oh, it just keeps popping up. What the hell? Oh, I can move it. Okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to push you way down here. So let me get back into here, and now I can check all these. Oh, you're going to do that every fucking time, bro? All right, for now, I'm turning off this widget because it's driving me nuts. It's just like in the most inopportune place. Let me check all these boxes. I just want to show you how well MicroStrategy's done, and that will run out. That will run out. So in blue, look at this. Look at the overperformance between MicroStrategy, 588% in a year. And again, outperforming across a multiple year time frame, and that's perfectly fine. But that will come down to earth. You won't see big funds holding on to MicroStrategy for a long period of time when it's at 3x NAV. You just won't. And the underperformers now will be the outperformers later. It's just how it works. Look over here. Look over here, guys. MicroStrategy. Look at what it did from May of 2024 through here to June and down into here. It went down from May. It went down all the way to July, right? But look at some of these others. Look at Iron and what it did. Look at what Wolf did. There's always going to be outperformance and underperformance. They take turns. Anybody who's getting too cocky on MSTR right now will feel pain later. I'm just warning you. It's just how it works. And it's the leader again today, but it won't be forever because smaller caps are going to do better. It's just how it works. Just look at my MSTU up 76% on shares since September. That's beautiful, right? I made 50 grand in a week. It's beautiful. But just because you made a bunch of money off of something doesn't take away reality. Okay? It doesn't take away the reality of what that asset is currently valued at versus its underlying holdings. Sure, can Bitcoin double and go up to $120,000 or whatever it is? Like, what are we even at right now for Bitcoin? 65,000. So if it goes to $130,000, will the MST or MSTR NAV be like way better? Yes, but it will still be overvalued. It'll still be overvalued. And can they buy more Bitcoin? Sure, but they already have 250,000. So the impact is going to be less and less as time goes on, that curvature to the upside from their buys. Please get better at math, guys. Jesse, have you ever mentioned that stock that you were looking at shorting? I didn't find any good ones. So no. I will look at others, but I think right now we're just looking at parabola to the upside. I mean, Bitcoin's literally at 65K again and wanting to break higher. Dave Parketney, you invest in Tesla. They are overvalued. That's a stupid fucking comment. I'm just going to put you in timeout because I don't want to hear your voice for a while. That's a stupid fucking comment. So that comment is just, asinine, right? So we got the net asset value of this. So trying to compare, first off, a company that's literally just Bitcoin holdings, because there is nothing else left to MSTR. They make a little bit of net income. They put all that back into Bitcoin, but really they're a debt servicing company now. Whereas Tesla has been in the same fucking trade range for 3 years. 3 years, and you're telling me it's overvalued right now? I'm literally, I'm just gonna make yeah, don't piss me off with stupid fucking comments that aren't comparable in nature, because I literally just won't let you talk anymore. I'm sorry. I don't want people getting the wrong impression from people in chat who don't know what they're talking about. And it's absolutely asinine to say that Tesla is overvalued like MicroStrategy right now. It's just a stupid fucking comment. So don't say stupid shit on my channel, please. It gets really annoying when that happens. What's your favorite miner to buy today? I don't know. They all have upside. I mean, Mara is probably going to be the least upside because of its sheer size. It's almost a $5 billion company, maybe a little bit over that now. It's up 6% on the day, so it's currently leading. Like we said, leadership usually goes with narratives and also with the biggest. And the biggest Bitcoin holder is Mara outside of MicroStrategy, right? So it's probably the next to go. It's probably the next to have the strongest narrative, in my opinion. But it's also a $5 billion company. Let's look at CleanSpark. What is CleanSpark? CleanSpark is quickly turning into the highest hash rate miner on the planet that's publicly traded, and they're about half the valuation of Mara. So and they're growing. I believe by the beginning of next year they'll have the second highest amount of Bitcoin holdings versus competitors. So they'll benefit directly from upside in Bitcoin's price action. So that'll be a very positive thing too. And with half the market cap, they can move a lot more. Let's look at Cypher and Iron and a bunch of these others. So if we look over here, we can see 1.45 billion. So this is like less than a third of what Mara is. So it has some pretty good upside sitting in it. And then let's look at some others here. Let's look at Iron. Let's look at all these others. I've got to add my other stream deck in here. So Iron. This one is a 1.53. It's very similar in size to Cypher. I probably like Iron better, especially with their HPC play versus Cypher right now. But again, small cap could definitely run. I honestly, CleanSpark, Iron, pretty interesting combination right there. Let's also look, but again, I have Mara too, and I have a large position in that, like 200,000 or something. And all right, so let's look at BITF. That's another one I like. I like it better than Cypher, actually. So this one's only 863 million for their market cap. So this one is like what? 1/6 the size, 1/7. Yeah, a little better than 1/6 the size of Mara. So this thing can fly as well, right? It might not be juiced in quite the same way, but it's a much smaller cap. So if they continue expansion, if they do things well, they could see their earnings really flip around. Their Bitcoin holdings could help that, and it could make them look good for a while. And people love those smaller caps because they can move them with less dollars, even if the fundamentals don't necessarily look better than a Mara or a MicroStrategy or a CleanSpark. It doesn't really matter because it's so tiny in nature. This one right here is what, like 1/4 almost? A little between 1/3 and 1/4 of what CleanSpark is for market cap size. So it could catch up really quickly. All right, let's see here. Hi, Jesse. What are your thoughts on World Liberty Finance packed by Trump? I wouldn't invest in anything like that. I don't know. I like fundamentals. I like Trump, but I wouldn't buy his shit coins either unless I just was trying to contribute to his campaign. Dustin P11, I'm nearly up 100% on MicroStrategy. I'm going to heed the warning. Hate to lose those gains. Again, it can go up for a while and still be a leader. And think about tax obligations. I could be wrong for a while, but it's, again, if we just look over here, and I need to add this chart. I added another chart under the MicroStrategy channel, but I need to add this one under the Discord too. I'll try and do that today because this is at the most overvalued levels it's been in like 3+ years. So that's a lot, okay? That's a lot of history that wants to pull us down. Did Mara sell all their Bitcoin to buy more miners? No. No. Why would they do that? No, not even remotely close. So let me find real quickly. So So Mara has, and I might have a better one than this. Oh, you know what? I think I do. Let me find something real quick here. I got a better, DR Lewis, I think, has a good one on this. Let me see, BTC miners, maybe it's under here. Yeah, right here. This is sats per share. No, that's not the one. I thought he had a Bitcoin holding one. He does a pretty good job. DR Lewis is pretty decent, and some of, maybe I don't have it in here. But no, they've got the largest holdings of Bitcoin by far. I think they're at 25,000. Let me just see here. Let me see what they're at. We're using Sebastian Ski's PDF because we love Sebastian Ski. Thank you, Darla and Jordan, for the $2. I really appreciate you. Unsolicited, even. All right, so 27,000, almost 27,000 Bitcoin is their current holding. The next closest is like Hut or somebody, but Hut's just a shitty company. Riot has a decent amount. Let's see, Riot has 10,427. Hut's in that list too. Hut has 9,100, but again, their number isn't getting better. Riot's is. Then we can look at a CleanSpark. Let's see here. Right about here. And CleanSpark was sitting at 8,049. I think by the beginning of the year, they're going to be closer to 11,000. They're stacking at a pretty good pace. Even they're not really selling anything at all. And so I think maybe 10,000. I should say 10,000. So they might still be in third place by the beginning of the year. And then by the end of the first quarter, maybe second quarter, I think they can be in the lead for amount of Bitcoin held, or very, 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 or I should say this, in second place, or be right near it, maybe tied with Riot or somebody like that. And I like CleanSpark better than Riot. Riot has to turn off a bunch of equipment during peak season, like when the markets are doing great, they're going to be turning off equipment and getting less revenue. You won't like that. The Buckeye holder, Elon can catch rockets. I feel pretty good about the team completing FSD at this point. Tesla price discovery explodes to the again, MicroStrategy. I love Michael Saylor for his vision of Bitcoin in the future, but you just can't compare him to Tesla and Elon Musk right now. Again, the investment will do good, but it's going to start to underperform, just like Palantir. Shawnee G. Hey, Jesse, could you take a look at MSTR BTC chart and comment? MSTR is outperforming Bitcoin right now. I don't have much of a comment outside of the fact that that's not going to be happening for long. The Buckeye holder, Iron and CLSK are the plays. I think they're pretty good. Victor Hernandez, I have 50K in CLSK and Iron. Nice, dude. Asher and Juliana. All right. Asher, Juliana. Jesse, can you look at Satellite Logic, all former government employees on the board and some big insiders? We can do that later. Ask me in the market recap. I'm really going to save a lot of that. I'm not going to do too many stocks during this. We still got news to cover too. Victor Hernandez and 5K in Bitfarms. Devin Smith, Jesse, you have $1,000. What option play are you running? Right now, I'm probably more interested in Tesla, but you should run the numbers. But also Bitcoin's going to do great. Those two. And again, I've got plenty of money in PayPal and everything else. I'm very excited about all those plays. Should probably look and see how they're doing today. Looks like we're having somewhat of an up day. Let's see here. I mean, with shit coins and stuff, we're probably up about 20 grand. So nothing too crazy. What are Tesla options doing? They haven't settled yet. It's only 9. So they got a while. We should probably look at broader tickers here in a second. Let me do this. I'm going to go back over here so I can keep this sorted. So you guys can look at Bitcoin, because Bitcoin still looks like it wants to break out. SoFi up 8.23. MicroStrategy, again, all still doing well. Now is probably a good time to get out of them, though, in my opinion. But yeah, everything else looks pretty good, too. Let me keep going down here. And if SMLR gets approved for options, look out. Yeah, that could help them out. TFB, Mara also purchased 192 BCCC in September for an average cost of 57K. I like that. They're smart. They do a good job buying it. They suck at mining, but they do a good job buying Bitcoin at the right time. So that's a play too, right? Brett Thiel's no idiot. Mark LeBlanc, I appreciate the fact that you have Iron in your port. Tremendous potential. Hoping they start a gradual hodl. Yeah, the fact that they don't hodl is the only thing I don't like about them right now, honestly. And HPC still isn't that proven out. So it might still not be the best, but all boats float. And they have, the thing I like about Iron is, even if HPC doesn't play out, they're still doing a wicked job expanding their Bitcoin hash. That I like. I give up, laughing my ass off. Good, Sarthak. Succumb. Casper Holt, HIMS about to break out, is it? Now that one, I'm going to pull it up for 2 seconds. That one I'll pull up. Because there's a lot of people following HIMS, and it's not just like some out there play or something new. So we will look at it. And then I'll look at NVIDIA probably too. And then we need to go back to news. HIMS up 7.49%. Kind of a little wiki over here though. It's hard to know what happens with HIMS. Again, I think we could top right here. We got strong resistance, and maybe it could roll over into a head and shoulders. I don't think do I remember? I think they're not too overvalued though. So maybe they get a bounce instead. If I remember, I'm just going to look them up over here in the finance side of things, finance side of the house. And then we need to get back to Tesla and Bitcoin. I got a lot of new stuff I want to cover. So revenue growth 52%, forward PEs 33. So it could still drop, but it could also go up. The company's financials, I mean, the financials look really impressive. Have you sold MicroStrategy to buy CleanSpark? No, but I did buy. I publish all my stuff. So if you guys are on X and Discord, you literally see what I do, and you could just look at those and see all my trades that I made. But no, I did sell it, but I bought Tesla. I bought $140,000 worth of Tesla options last week. I haven't really added CleanSpark options. I looked to do it, but they've been going up, so there's not much point. And I still have a lot of them. I still have 200,000 just in CleanSpark options, not to mention an additional CleanSpark that I hold across other accounts. So that's a big number right here. Again, 192,000 is a pretty big number. And so it can benefit greatly from upside moves. It's up 8% today in the contracts. Not really a great time to buy it. But again, the Tesla stuff I like more. PayPal is still kind of meandering, but again, I've done much better off of PayPal recently, so I don't hate that at all. Tesla options down 0.71% today, so they're still taking a hit. Will I sell some other stuff to maybe buy it? Maybe. And again, this is my main account, but this isn't everything, guys. I've got a lot of other stuff. I've got 5 other accounts, and then I've got crypto portfolio too. So this is just like 60% of it. Over 60% of my portfolio, but it's not everything. Let's be clear. All right, so let's go back over here. I want to get back to Tesla. Wow, Upstart is up 10%. All the shit's going to be ripping, guys. There's going to be a lot of shit ripping. The thing is, you want to hold the good stuff. I don't know if Upstart's one of the good things, but it's got high short interest. Look at the Sol Strategies chart. What do you mean by Sol Strategies chart? Is that another ticker? Stock intake. Could you please check IRM? I'll do that later in the market recap, guys. That's what a lot of the market recap's going to be. Again, look at this. This is 5 years. We went from a hopper to catching a 20-story building. In that same period of time, we went from almost no Starlink installation to over 7,100 satellites, too. Probably loud. Let me see here. Let me turn this down. This shit's so loud. Gotta figure out my X. So again, just sick. I gotta figure out my volumes between X and this. So again, the Cybercab. Does anybody care that it's wireless and that it's literally built for autonomy and that it has cleaning equipment that Tesla builds too that goes with it so that people can buy fleets of these and manage them? Seems like a lot of signal. I said to Banana, because he had that article earlier, I said, yep, it's virtually impossible for this not to be positively impacting Tesla because the same man is behind these miraculous events that occur every year after year after year across all of his companies. Elon Musk is literally working on making blind people see, helping quadriplegics walk, while fighting for our freedoms and making us multiplanetary. Oh, and he's going to single-handedly usher in an age of abundance, as he stated on Thursday. And that's just the short list. No biggie, right? No biggie there, guys. No signal in that. You should ignore all of it because there's no signal, obviously. And there's a lot more. So let's just see. There's so many things in here. So again, Dalton said, there's so many good posts in all of this. Dalton said, I had another Tesla FSD drive that was 218 miles, 3.5 hours, and had 0 safety interventions last night. 99% of my driving is done autonomously. Same here. I hardly drive my car anymore. Same here, unless I want to speed, and I'm dangerous. No geofencing required. No overly expensive LiDAR systems. You don't need a $180,000 Waymo vehicle. You need a less than $30,000 Cybercab, and you can buy it. And you can manage the fleet yourself and make money off of it. It's kind of a no-brainer on where we're headed, guys. Let's see. Antonio says Tesla stock has gone nowhere since 2021, but the cars basically drive themselves now. In 4 years, Tesla has evolved into a robotics company. It also went from a PE ratio that was 1100 or almost 1200 down to one that's in the 70s, maybe 60s right now. So it's super cheap. And Jalapink, for people that can't decipher noise from signal, said Tesla may not even have real cars at its robotaxi event. Another person said that Elon Musk was basically a nothing and can't do anything. But in the next 2 weeks, we're going to have FSD 13, and my Cybertruck will be driving at 1/6 the interventions that it is now. And it's already almost perfect. So let's just keep going. Said Tesla's time is coming sooner than people realize, and I said that same thing about Palantir 1.5 years ago, right before it made me $600,000, and before it was up 650%. So I'm just telling you it's happening again with something else. Anthony said Elon Musk is building autonomous cars, humanoid robots, reusable rockets, implantable computer chips, advanced artificial intelligence, futuristic underground tunnels, and the world's most important free speech platform. Imagine how anti-progress you have to be to hate him. Excuse me. Antonio also says, if you think the hype around Palantir is intense, just wait until people discover Tesla is a robotics company. I agree with that. Again, I took a ride in the vaporware. It's better than Waymo. So whole Mars catalog telling you that version 13 of the Cybercab is better than a Waymo, something that cost $180,000, and this other thing is going to be under 30. No possible signal there, right? Again, catching buildings. I think that's it for Tesla. So a lot of beautiful things that happened. Again, I just want you to understand them. You need to understand them. If you don't understand them, it's going to hurt you. So make sure you understand them. Bitcoin, let's get over there. PayPal almost 81. That's awesome. I like making money off of PayPal. So there's this company, this company called Arkham Intelligence plans to roll out crypto derivatives exchange. This benefits Bitcoin. Australia's first spot ETF, Ethereum ETF by Monochrome Asset Management will launch Tuesday. This will benefit Ethereum, which benefits Bitcoin. Kyle Chass says, only a matter of time, Bitcoin will follow M2 money supply. Yes, that's true. And it's not just that, but many other factors globally, over 90 that Michael Howell follows that we should talk about. And I'll probably use these AI summaries. If I can get the Chrome extension for Speechify to integrate with my mobile app, I've got files stored in there. So that AI summary of what Michael Howell said that can drop it down to just like a real quick blurb. I'll probably use that kind of stuff for things that are much longer reads so that I can help you guys. Plus, it did a really good job. The AI did a good job of like summarizing it in a really cohesive way that makes it easy to understand. So I'll probably be doing more of that in the future if I can get it to work. So this is Cryptos R Us. He's a pretty cool dude. He's just showing what happens, these buy signals when the moving averages cross over each other with the ones that he follows. This is from Crypto Rover, actually, his work. And he's right. And my target's 280,000 too. I'll be well out of multipliers by the time we get to 150,000, probably 150 to 180. I'll be out of multipliers completely. But I will be holding those ETFs and riding that up and enjoying that ride as well. I put micro to macro. We're only in neutral and Bitcoin is ready to break out. This makes for a great formula. I said that a little bit earlier, but crypto is barely neutral and ready to go higher. Let's listen to Kathy Woods. People love to hate her, but she's going to be right again and she'll be popular again in the future. So let's listen to what she has to say about global economies and what's happening.
Are you still confident in that $1 million target for Bitcoin?
Yes, actually, the more uncertainty and volatility there is in the global economies, the more our confidence increases in Bitcoin. And one of the reasons is we've just been through an inflationary scare. We think it was very much supply chain driven. And
I'm sorry. I hate it when I click
global economies. The more our confidence increases in Bitcoin. And one of the reasons is we've just been through an inflationary scare. We think it was very much supply chain driven, and Bitcoin is a hedge against it.
Are you still confident in that 1 million?
I hit the button. I hate how if you click on any part of this, it'll just reset the video. I really hope they fix that shit. But the gist is Kathy Woods is bullish. Somebody said something I wanted to respond to real quickly. So, first off, Martin, you said, Jesse, what do you use for streaming? OBS Studio has VST plugins, Load Max. Oh, great. All right, let me actually take a screenshot of that. That would save me a ton of time. I really appreciate that, Martin. So he's basically saying that I should be able to normalize with a plugin, and I do use OBS. So I love you, bro. Thank you very much for that. That is super helpful. So I'll check out, it says Load Max, Dynamic Audio Normalizer, etc. to just normalize volume of videos. Thank you so much. That will save me just a bunch of time fucking around with these things, trying to get the volumes right. I really appreciate you. Gary Corrett said, Jesse, I believe last week we expected CleanSpark to potentially go to $6 while MicroStrategy was going to $900. You're looking at very different time frames here when you're making statements like that. Very different time frames. So let's jump over here to MicroStrategy. So yes, the high could MicroStrategy go to 900 or go up 341%. At the end of the cycle, yes. But you said CleanSpark going to $6. I'm assuming you have a typo there or something, because could it go to $6? Could it drop down to $6? Maybe. But at the end of the cycle, man, at the end of the cycle, this thing's probably 600% at least between now and then. Whereas MicroStrategy, we're talking 370. So with a potential to outperform maybe to 400 to 500, and this thing could outperform to 1,000% maybe. So there's a greater multiplier behind CleanSpark. And you said, would you take those profits to buy more CleanSpark and Mara? I would, but that's not financial advice to you. That is just what I would do. You do you, man. And I always think about taxes, but the multipliers for opportunity to the upside are in the things that have the smaller caps. That's just how math works. Real quickly here, Swearing Shitty says, Jesse, please put the bigger BTC number on the picture-in-picture. The bigger BTC number. I mean, I've got the image of it, and I can do this. I can show you how Bitcoin can do, so you can see the number hopefully there now, that the fact that it's ready to break out. And then I can do this too. So you got Bitcoin nice and big over here. You see where the downward resistance is, and then you see the things sorted by highest percentage of return versus the ones that aren't doing as good. So Bitcoin is doing well. It's at 65,400. It's pressing up hard. I might even get an alert here in a second indicating that it's in a breakout zone. So Bitcoin is not having a bad day. That's for sure. And yeah, so I just wanted to be clear on the CleanSpark stuff, because the $6 versus the 900 for MSTR, I just wanted to be very clear. And maybe you meant 60. Maybe that's what you meant. And that would be a more realistic number. So maybe you meant the 60s range up here. That's probably more likely. All right, let's see what else. Sold some SoFi, rolling into TSLL. SoFi could still run for a while, but yeah, I think Tesla's going to be a great opportunity. Dario, ARKG, it doesn't really move. I've said this for a while. It will be a laggard, which means it doesn't move first. Augustin Ortega, Jesse, should I buy Tesla now at 250? I mean, you do you guys. I'm not giving financial advice. I bought 140,000 worth on Friday. I might buy more over the next week, especially if they have a bad earnings. I'm probably locked and loaded for Tesla right now because I have a lot. I have more options contracts than I've ever owned. Sushil Bora, what about iron? Short to midterm projection. Sorry if it's already been discussed. Like, I bought a lot of iron, right? I've got $88,000 in iron right now, just in stock. So I'm ready to benefit from some of that. It's only like, again, $1.5 billion market cap. It's an HPC play. They got a large hash rate growth. Now the actual stock, if we just go over here, I'll look at it real quick. What time is it? It's 9:15. I might get into stocks here in a second, guys, just because things are going all right, and we're getting through stuff pretty quickly. So I might go into stocks. So If you guys have stock requests, let's talk about them as we wait, because we're light on economic data today anyway. So iron, it looks great. I mean, look at it. It's up 674%, roughly, from where it was in the low, 688%. And it's found support on peak volumes, and then it's getting closer to the first fib. And we know it's already gotten all the way up to $15. So we know it can double overnight just if we start hitting. I mean, let's put it this way. By the time we hit 92, I expect this thing to at least be $17, if not higher, 17 to 20. That's my take on that, right? So 17 to 20 is what I see. Something like this. So 150% return. It might even get all the way up to 182% or 184% over a short period of time. And I believe the peak for this cycle is at least in the 50s for iron, if they perform with HPC and their hash rate and all this other stuff. BGZ gave $5. Can't wait to ride this Bitcoin rocket with you all. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. What about Soul Strategies? It's up 50% today. I don't know Soul Strategies. Is that the one that that Invest Answers or Marty Party or somebody are pitching? And what's the actual stock? I don't know what the stock ticker is. So you'd have to give me that. And what's its NAV? What's its net asset value? Is it reasonable or is it not reasonable? Arcadian. Devin Smith, shorts have 2.6 days to cover on CleanSpark, almost 19% short interest. That's going to be tough, isn't it, Devin? It's probably not a good time for them over the short term. Roberta says, let's go Rocky. Augustin Ortega says earnings might buy the news event in Tesla. Well, I thought that about the release. But maybe. Again, I don't know what earnings are going to be this quarter. I don't want to speculate. I know Q4 is probably going to crush it. And I know that they've had good sales. They just haven't, again, we didn't have the energy outperformance we were hoping for in the delivery numbers. So that might hurt them a little bit with margin. But there's a lot of other things going on behind the scenes. But I think Q4 will be sick for earnings. Arcadian James Invest Answers has bought some, I think. Okay. Yeah, do you know what the NAV is for it? Because the NAV is going to be really important. And I wouldn't buy anything that's up 50% today. Definitely. Benjamin, could you quick sum up CleanSpark over any other RN? Sum up why CleanSpark? I mean, they're all going to go up. I think that's a waste of energy. CleanSpark is growing at the fastest rate of any of the miners, in my opinion, and it will be the number one, potentially number two highest hash rate miner and the number two highest Bitcoin holder. I think those are two pretty good reasons, but there's others that have smaller caps that could run even better because they're smaller. So I'm not really going to make the point that CleanSpark is just a way better investment because it's great. It's got the best managed company, I think, out of all the Bitcoin miners. Maybe Iron can be up there too. Mara does the best at buying the dips. They all have different purposes. They'll all do well. Diversify. Asher said, can you take a look at Satellogic, all former government? Yeah, I'll look at that one now. What the hell? We can look at it. We'll bounce around between a few other things. If you guys have news events that come up too, again, I lean on you guys because if there's news-related events, let me know if I'm missing anything because I am kind of managing a live stream. So anything you guys can do to kind of help out is greatly appreciated. So let's pull up Saddle, and then I'll save it in here real quick as a ticker. I should probably actually do the financials first. That's the way I like to do it. What's the ticker? Oh, Saddle, not Sabble. All right. Let's do this right. I'll save that real quick. Oh, Jesus. Fuck. That's bad. That's really bad. All right, so let's look at the financials. The ticker just looks horrific. Is this a value trap? Maybe. But you said government contracts, but are they making any money? So yearly, we see growth. They got up to 10 million. Their forward PE is 1.69. That's probably broken. They did have a wicked last quarter, Q4 of 2023. Let's look at what their estimates are. So is this... Oh, I don't hate that. It's weird that they're looking to be negative EPS, but have really strong EPS. This could be interesting. This might be interesting. And any insiders bailing? We don't have insider activity. We've got low short interest. We've got flat institutional ownership, but we've got estimates that are going higher. But the company's doesn't have positive cash flow. That's the part I hate. Now, is it trending in the right direction here? Yes. Does it look like they might get to positive cash flow? Sure. But in Q4, they lost $13.5 million off of 5.7 in revenue. So this is where I just struggle. And they're slowly diluting shares. They really had to dilute in Q3 of 2022 just to stay alive. Their cash is burning, so I would imagine more share dilution is coming. I'm not interested in this right now. Could I be in the future? Maybe. But right now I'm not, Asher. Sarthak, keeping my SoFi till 11 at least. That's probably pretty smart. Again, there's not a lot of resistance on SoFi, guys. If we just look over here. Not a lot of resistance for this thing anytime soon. It's only a $10 billion bank. It's so tiny compared to others. And if we look, let's say we squeeze this way over here. Sure, we popped, but this thing can easily go to 11. That's probably a good time for it to take a breather. But this thing, I mean, it could go up to 14, 15 still. It could go up in this range too. Again, it's doing what I said it was going to do. It's doing what I said it was going to do, and it has potential for another 40% upside. A lot more over the short term, I think, than Palantir has. Again, if we just hop out, and I want to look at PayPal. Somebody said that was doing all right. Nike, that's what we're talking about on CNBC. You guys are missing out on Nike, so you're not missing too much. So people on Palantir are probably excited about their 0.34%. I think that's the beginning of the end. But good luck. I do want to see PayPal. Let's see how we're doing there. Thank you to the 500 people that are here. If you guys could hit the like, comment, do all the things, it's greatly appreciated. PayPal. So flat on the day. It looks like it's trying to go higher. It could take a breather for a bit. It's done really well. I'll be selling more PayPal in the 90s, probably 94 range. I still think my 2025s are going to be dust, but oh my God, is Bitcoin breaking out? Fucking A, dude. Is it going to happen today? Retarded. We're at 65.7, guys. I got to move my alert here because it's going to break out and I don't want it to blow people's ears off. So let's just bring it up to here at this next fib line. So when we get to 66.5, we'll have an alert that goes off. We'll do another one right before 68. This is crazy. A lot of money going to be made today, guys. MSTR is probably going to be one of them. This would be a great place for Michael Saylor to just dump a shit ton of stock. He's just going to be doing so well. This is like once he sees the momentum slow down in his MSTR, it's usually when he sells. He sees the NAV is high. He's got all these same metrics. He's got really brilliant people that follow him, or that he follows, I should say. And so they're gonna understand the But again, Bitcoin has 40% upside, just in the short term, just between like now and the end of the year. Wow, we're gonna melt faces off, Cody, for sure. It's gonna be crazy. Sarth or TMMM. Can you look at ABT? I have a lot of them. I work there and can buy them with a discount of 15%. Yeah, I probably can. BITX is outperforming MSTX. It's a 2x play. It doesn't have the crazy net asset value. It's just a cleaner play. It's got a little bit of theta decay, but it's a cleaner play. That makes sense, right? So not super surprised to see that one doing all right. I won't lie. I wish I would have kept more of my BITX, but I just really wanted to buy Tesla. But I'm always a little early and aggressive. So it is what it is. Celsius. I will try and look. TMMM. Ask me in the market recap. I'll get to your ABT. Okay. It's just very specific to you from the sounds of it. So I'll probably wait until then. I will pull up Celsius though. This is a big one that a lot of you probably hold. And if we look over here, again, just heavily beat up. This thing was down 69 or 72%. Is that real? Oh, you guys just got fucking butchered, didn't you? Ouch, man. Fuck. Now, this is a great place to find a bottom. As long as the financials, we're still under peak volumes. But if we can grind out here, maybe it grinds out for a week or more. I don't know when Celsius earnings are. Let me just go to daily and find out. They're not until September. So maybe we grind sideways for a bit, and then you get a better idea of, hey, it doesn't look like it's breaking through. This does look like it's bull flagging a little bit. So, and I said maybe we could grind sideways for a while. I'm still going to hold at that, but it doesn't have to be for long. So I actually think that we're going to see some good stuff here. I should probably change this red. I mean, that's literally what I'm saying it's going to do, is just kind of grind sideways. But it doesn't have to be for long, and it could start to break up if the earnings report does well. But when you're down 72%, I think that, I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it might still be rich in valuation, though. For a drink company, it is at 38. So I do worry it could actually go lower. But this is so much cheaper than the double top up here, guys. So if you're interested in Celsius, we are oversold and have been since the 16th on the weekly time frame. So like if you're looking at picking something up in the future because you believe in the fundamentals of this company, then now's a good time. I don't understand the fundamentals really well, so I don't have a lot there. Brandon said, what about save calls? I don't know. Brandon, are you a member? I got to figure out. The problem is I hate to do calls unless I know somebody is subscribed on X or subscribed on YouTube or subscribed on Discord, at which point I will do their calls. Oh, dude, we're breaking out even more. What are we up to? We're at 66 right now, guys. Right now. I might take a breather on some of these other requests just for a second. I might look at Soul Strategies real quick. I don't know what the net asset value is. Let me see if I can find that. Soul Strategies NAV versus Holdings. Solana Holdings. So this is a rebrand from Cypherpunk Holdings to Soul Strategies, right? Do we have a good... Does anybody know of a good NAV for this? I don't know of a good NAV for this. Let me see. Let me just type in Soul Strategies and see if I can get their page. Here we go. So, investor relations, maybe. They should list their net asset value. It says track and trading view, but I care what is your NAV? Yeah, I don't know. If you guys know where I can find the NAV on this thing, let me know. Otherwise, I just know it's went up a shit ton today. And I wouldn't buy anything that's up 45%. I just wouldn't do that. Camprog earnings on Tesla might not be as good as we think, but guidance can move stock up. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But again, maybe it even goes down to 200 over the short term. I hope that's what happens. We are literally getting ready to break through 66,000 right now on Bitcoin, guys. Phenomenal. If you'll remember here, if I shrink up some of the stuff on the right a little bit, yeah, I'll do that. I'll shrink it up just a little. If you remember here, we've been in a consolidation range going all the way back to February. So we've got over 7 months now of consolidation that have occurred. 7.5 months, and we're getting ready to break out from that. It will be violent. We're over 66,000. We're actually going to go ahead and pull this up on the big screen. I'm going to move this. I'm going to move the bottom one to this where we get a good idea of the percentages that things are up. SoFi is up almost 10% on the day now, guys. BITX is outperforming MicroStrategy's MSTX. MSTX is up 7.7. BITX is up 9.41. Mara is outperforming MicroStrategy's MSTX and MSTR. CleanSpark is outperforming. If only somebody could have told us that Bitcoin miners would outperform. If only somebody could have told us. Unfortunately, we have nobody. We have nobody to look to. It's really sad. All right, let's look over here. So we are back under 66, but God, man, this thing wants to scream. This is wants to scream, guys. If we get up here, and let me do this. I probably need to do this. I need to get down. We're going to do candle bodies on the weekly, or maybe on the daily. Let's do it on the daily. Is that what we were? Let's do candle bodies on the daily. Yeah, so that needs to be higher again. So put that up to like here. I can't really go lower if I do daily, though. We'll leave it. We'll leave it because we're not close to the weekly close right now, so this is really the point of truth. What we're looking for, guys, is 67K. When we get to 67K, Bitcoin is ready to go all day, okay? There's going to be a lot of crazy shit that's going on once that happens. Just a lot. I'm crying, looking for group. There's going to be a lot of money made today, guys. I'm actually getting hungry. So we've been going, what, 2.5 hours? A little over? I know it's a horrible time to drop the stream, but I think, here's the deal. CLSK calls are sweet today, are they? I mean, I guess that makes sense. If only I owned some. Oh, wait, I do. Let's see how they're doing. I only see 8.6%. Oh, this hasn't updated. It's probably a lot higher than that. Let me go over here and refresh it because I don't like to show. I need to not show my account number. 1 second here. 1 second. I guess CleanSpark's only up 4.59. Oh, no, now it's updating. Okay. Now it's updating. So CleanSpark's calls aren't actually doing that good yet. Or maybe they are. It's probably better than 151. If we did the buy-sell thing over here, it's probably better than 151. It's probably higher than that. But so the stock is actually running first, and that's okay. That can happen. But this will go up a lot. Soul Strategies NAV is 19.7 million at current price. Market cap is 57. Wow. So it's already running at a huge premium of their underlying assets. Thank you, TFP. Do you have a link to that? Or a place to go? Like, tell me where to go. Is it on their site? Nice Tesla bounce, is it? Is Tesla bouncing? I mean, I don't know. This isn't much of a bounce. 0.1%. It's just hanging out. I think that's okay, though, for the next week. I hope it does more of it. It looks like the options I bought last week are even cheaper this week. They're going down even more. So I might, I'm probably going to wait. I'll wait. I might buy in more to that, but probably not today. I want to see Bitcoin run more. Bitcoin really seems like it's ready to go. Jesse's Patreon has an ARB model. You must be in James because I don't have a Patreon. Or are you talking about my Discord? Let me know. James. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, Tesla bouncing a little bit, but hey, not much. That's fine, though. That's perfectly okay. We don't mind if Tesla goes down over the short term. I don't care about the noise. I'll buy more. I'm okay with these contracts bleeding. I'm always looking towards the future, guys. That's one thing you're going to learn. I care a lot less about the current, and I care a lot more about what's coming. MSTX still getting a decent 7%. Let's go back down here to this. So again, we're still riding that 66,000 level. BITX, SoFi, Mara, CleanSpark, all the big movers for the day. Bonk is in there. Injective is in there. MSTX is coming up next. Coinbase is starting to finally move. People are going to like that. Any price targets in mind for PayPal? Yeah, a lot higher. A lot higher. And the options contract is the way you want to play it. Here, let me pull it up over here. The options contract is the way you want to play it, in my opinion, and you can run all those things yourself. But PayPal could go quite a bit higher. It's only near 81 right now, but I'm probably not really selling anything or much of anything until 95. And then I think over the short term here, like between now and spring, I think we could see 110 by the end of spring, 110 or a little bit more on PayPal. And that would give me a nice 10x for the return. You watched Micron interview. Oh, are they doing it? Did they do the Micron interview? Let me go over. I actually want to see. I know they're doing another one today. Is that what you're talking about? Paul, I did play the Micron, or one of them, a while ago. Are you talking about Micron right now, though? Are they doing an interview? Contracts are bleeding the same way if you're waiting for LTCG. I don't remember which one that is. Sarthak, thanks, Jesse. You're welcome. Let me see real quick. I'll see if there's the Micron video. Might have to do a bunch of bullshit. Who's that? Tom, Bank of America. Blah. Fuck Bank of America. I think big banks underperform. Who is this guy? Oh, hey, is this who we're talking about?
That while markets are maybe expensive, it's no reason to get super bearish. Piper Sandler Chief Investment Strategist Michael Kantrowitz joins us this morning. Michael, always good to
No, he's not bad. I thought it was going to be Micron, but yeah, this isn't bad either.
talk to you. I love this line. Markets are expensive, but unless a risk arises, it will stay expensive.
Oh,
Can you
it's
talk
6
a bit
p.m.
about
Eastern.
that?
Okay. We'll just watch
Sure.
that tomorrow.
Yeah. You know, I'm sure you guys all the time have people coming on and talking about
was
whether
that this
they're
morning?
bullish or bearish due to valuations. And for sure, pretty
Hey
much
guys, one
all
sec, my wife
valuation
is saying
models
something.
have pointed
Be
to
right
the
back.
market being expensive for quite some time. We always approach this from a catalyst perspective. In other words, trying to understand what's driving multiples. Why have they gone up so much in the last 2 years? And are those trends still in place for further multiple expansion? And so in this case, I think it's, you know, the pricing out of the risks of 2 years ago, inflation, higher interest rates, Fed tightening, that have largely been priced out of equities, which is why the market is largely where it is today. And so going forward, an expensive market is not on its own a reason to get bearish. If we had another spike in interest rates, another resurgence of inflation, or we saw the narrative turn back to recession fears, from any multiple, that would be a reason to get worried. And currently, that's not the backdrop. So I think it's okay for equity markets to remain expensive, but I think investors really want to focus on stocks that have continued earnings momentum, because those names will likely see the best outperformance and can hold those expensive multiples for longer.
Right. And is that going to lead you to any sector in particular?
It's not so much about sectors as it is about individual stocks. And so, from a
I'm sorry, what do you mean by Kamala's flipping on Bitcoin? Does she need Bitcoin now to try and save her race? I hope smart Bitcoiners will realize that whatever she says is bullshit, just like her complete change in stance on everything she's ever believed for the last 10 years. But is there some news?
sector perspective, of course, things like tech are expensive. But again, given the compositional issues and single stock overweights, it doesn't really represent the entire group. So the way we would think about it is to dig in within each sector and find the names, even if they're expensive, that still have earnings momentum. So earnings revisions is a factor that we've really been pounding the table on over the last 2 months as a way to start your stock selection screen and build your portfolio from there.
Kamala Harris, a speech on crypto. That just sounds hilarious. Might have to watch that.
What about higher bond yields? Does that act as a problem at some point?
Not over the short term.
Yeah, I think so. And things typically act as a problem. First, they show up in leadership before they show up in the broader market. And this kind of reminds me of the beginning of this year, where we started this year, rates were at 380 on the 10-year, and then we went up until April, really with no apparent problem for the equity market until we got to about 430. But underneath the surface, and like you're seeing today, those rate-sensitive stocks and economically sensitive stocks are starting to feel the brunt of that. In the third quarter, the best performing groups were utilities and real estate and small regional banks, all that benefited a lot from lower rates. They're all underperforming and even in some cases down month to date. So you're seeing it in leadership, but it's probably going to take rates going at least to 4.25, in our opinion, to really show up in the broader market.
Meanwhile, there seems to be sort of like
nothing to worry about.
Buckshot of bullish metrics. For example, rail freight car loads, corporate misery indices, mentions of weak demand. Do you think revisions coming down have overdone it?
Not necessarily. What we often see in a given calendar year is that estimates from the sell side always start out high and then they trickle down throughout the year. What we see consistently is in the fourth quarter, so where we are now in the calendar year, is where you tend to see the biggest acceleration in those downward earnings estimates. Perhaps companies start to talk about the next year and kind of catch up to where earnings are really going to be for the given year. So I would actually expect to see more.
No, No, that's not what's happening. Stupid fucking take.
Downward earnings revisions, and that's been the case all year. But again, it's mainly you're seeing it in small and mid.
Oh, he's been expecting that all year, but really, earnings revisions haven't been that bad at all, and a lot of them have been to the upside. So I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Caps, large cap stocks have held up far better in terms of earnings, which is why I think they continue to outperform.
All right. We'll collect more information, obviously, in the coming days. That'll be good to get more commentary, too. Michael, always good to get your take. Appreciate it, as always.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've done a political stream. I will have to do one because polling data is just getting better, and there's just so many shifts. The Kamala camp is really trying to play catch up, and it's not looking good. And then even Obama talking to people, trying to tell black men that they have to vote for Kamala because she's black, it just has not went over well from what I'm seeing. It's not going good. Not going as planned. Not a lot of people in Southside Chicago thinking that Obama is still close to his roots, and not liking what they're seeing. Again, Bitcoin 66,100, trying to push up again, guys. This could be a lot of fun today. Jesse, are you completely out of MSTR levered plays? Yes, I am 100% out. I do have MSTR. I have about 50 grand, something like that. I don't know. I'd have to look at the exact amount. It might be more, might be less. I don't know. It's close. Sealess, I've never shot a gun, but the way waltz look clumsy to me. Oh, it's so bad. I've shot a bunch of guns. I learned the hard way how a shotgun works. I had it near my shoulder, but not right on it. That fucking hurts. I had that happen when I was a kid, learned the hard way. I feel like waltz is about where I was back then. Now I've got like AR-15s and all kinds of shit. But yeah, he's definitely not a gun holder. Sarthak, Indian, black, Americans, she can be whatever she wants. Yeah, she just pretends. She's a big pretend. I'm sorry, if Donald Trump started talking like a black man when he was at a meetup, what the fuck would the press say? What would they say? If like Kamala Harris can be Indian one day, white the next, and then be a black person as far as dialect, and how would that work if Donald Trump did that same thing? There would be such a double standard against him. But Chameleon can do whatever the fuck she wants. It's ridiculous. It's just utterly stupid. All right, anyway, the white men for Kamala thing was god-awful. Oh, dude, I would have been embarrassed. It's like, how racist is that? How racist is it to say that black people should vote for black people? How racist is it to say that black people, that we shouldn't have ID laws because black people can't figure out how to get one? Isn't that racist? If I was black, I would be like, fuck you. Fuck you for thinking that I'm like some idiot or too poor to figure out how to get to the DMV. Fuck you. I'm sorry. Democrats are some of the most racist people. You know how? I know that. White dudes for Kamala. White dudes. You got to be a what? White dudes have to be classified in their own fucking category? Why? Why do we do that? Gays for Kamala. Trannies for Kamala. Let's do that. Can we get trannies for Kamala? I'm sure that would go over really well. It's just fucking stupid. Absolutely stupid. I always vote for Kong. King Kong? Tony Ellenbecker. You should, man. That's Tony. Tony's got some Asian heritage there, so he's a big fan of King Kong. I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about, Tony, but I love you. All right, Oak, BTC running. Toshi says, vote orange. Yes, vote for the orange man. If you have investments and you're not, you're being pretty stupid. Martin Pillich, left is all identity politics. This is why they're bringing all these groups. Yeah, right? I got to be a white guy for Kamala. Yay. Ooh, this is kind of fun. 2-year bull market run. No, that guy's an idiot. Well, no, maybe not. He might be all right. 1 second. We're going to check another video here. Might be interesting. I might make it to 10. We'll see. If you're going Indian, go best of breed. Vote for Vivek. Yes, by far the better Indian. Not even the same caliber. Yes. All right, let's see here. I'm interested to see what we're saying here. 2-year bull market run, headwinds facing tech. Of course he's going to say that. But whatever. We'll listen to his argument so I can tear it apart. Let's go here.
Our next guest says the sector does face 2 key issues ahead: antitrust scrutiny and as well as generative AI. Elevation Partners founder Roger McNamee joined.
Generative AI? is a headwind. What kind of retarded shit is that? Antitrust, yeah, sure. But that's going to last years, and that's all pushed by the Democrats. The key difference, David Sachs said this really good in the All In podcast. He said that the key difference, because they were talking about Jason from the All In was talking about how there is how both the Republicans and Democrats have been pushing this agenda against big tech. And albeit that is true, there's very key differences between them that I think David Sachs did a really good job illustrating. He said that Democrats are going after big tech because they're big and they want to destroy them. And there's benefits to big companies that help the economy and the country and the world, right? Because when you can do things at just massive scales, as long as you're not trying to destroy competition and make it to where it's just impossible for them to be able to turn into anything like Google did for years, then that can be okay. It can be okay to be big. But going after them right now, the Democrats are going after them because they're too large, and that's been a theme amongst their administration, right? Now, Republicans were different. Republicans were going after big tech because they didn't want censorship from after the pandemic. Remember this: they didn't want censorship where there are true stories that are being censored by these companies, so they don't want them to basically have control over the narrative and be pushing an agenda that is literally like leftists, right? They want a fair, even platform for communication, something like X, right? That's kind of naturally taken over for communication, and they want search engines that are more fair. And Google is definitely not that anymore. Most of the content at the top is sponsored. When you do Google searches anymore, you have to pay attention because you're not getting organic results. That stuff's further down. It's almost all sponsored. And then for organic, you'll find that a lot of the sponsored stuff is inorganic because they push so much of it that it helps it rise in the rankings. So it's like, really, what is organic anymore about Google? But it's funny that the whole antitrust thing is really reaching its culmination right when Google is a dying company. I find that funny. But again, there's very different approaches towards how these things going forward. And so I think Democrats are still very much against big companies and against corporations doing well and getting too large. And they would turn their sights on a Meta. They would turn their sights on Elon's companies, whatever they can hurt him with, right? They obviously can't do that so much with SpaceX, and even Starlink is difficult to go against with the narrative being so strong for it. But there's very different approaches, and so M&A and venture capital, they're going to be very key differences between what Democrats would offer and what Republicans. You still see a frozen market under Democrats. Under Republicans, you'd see a market that's thriving, and we need that. We need that if we're going to see really strong growth and more companies sprouting up organically after what has just been a wasteland in the VC for the last several years. So it's going to be very interesting to see how all that plays out. But let's listen to this moron talk about why there's so many headwinds in front of us, and we'll see if there's any signal in there.
Joins us now. Roger, let's just start off on generative AI, continue a conversation we've had a couple of times now. You know, You've at least questioned some of the use cases and whether or not it's really making, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but making any real progress in the enterprise. On what do you base sort of that lack of confidence in generative AI?
So, David, the context for this is really simple, which is that fundamentally the market has the best dynamics, economic dynamics behind it of anything we've had in memory. Right. So I'm very much with the last guest on the notion that, we'll climb a wall of worry and that stocks in general look very, very good here. But I do think there are two issues. And with it, the tech sector is so dominant in the indexes that I think the tech sector is the thing everybody has to watch out for. And within tech, there are two fundamental issues. One is generative AI, as you say. And the issue here is really simple, that the industry decided to commercialize a technology before it understood exactly what the value was. And they're commercializing it at an unprecedented rate. Microsoft is committed to, I think, $100 billion worth of investment in facilities to support generative AI. That would make a ton of sense if we already knew that in corporate settings, this increased productivity dramatically. The problem is that the evidence is exactly, at best, neutral, and I think at worst that generative AI actually destroys productivity. We see this in some very conspicuous places, specifically at Microsoft, relative to the Copilot apps that they were attaching to every part of their Office suite. And to me, this is one of those things that may resolve itself favorably, but it should cause us all to have a moment of concern because tech is such a huge overweight within all the indexes.
Yeah, all right, but there's there's an idea that ultimately, if you build it, they will come. I mean, we've had various senior executives on those conference calls. For example,
we're literally looking at one of the most transformational times in AI, and we could hit a bubble. That is true, but in no way are we near that bubble right now. In no way. It's just starting.
Example, simply say, there's no question we have to be there, and we will spend the money necessary. Why do you think it destroys productivity? What evidence do you have to support that contention?
So here's the simple way I think you need to look at this problem. So for about 40 or 50 years, people in artificial intelligence have talked about this notion that if you get a large enough data set to train on, that will eventually take you to AGI, some kind of artificial general intelligence. The problem with that logic is that we have passed the threshold at which that was supposed to happen numerous times over the last decades. And we're running the same experiment over and over again, expecting a different result. I think the fundamental problem with generative AI is that it was designed to convince people it's human, to pass a Turing test. It has done that magnificently. The problem is that the best way to do that is with BS. And so they've created a technology that doesn't, in fact, give you answers that are reliable. It gives you what they call hallucinations. Which
You're a fucking idiot. This guy doesn't know shit about anything. Fuck this. I can't listen to stupid people for long. All right. This guy's just a fucking moron. Some people are just dumb as shit. That guy's on the list. All right, let's see here. SoFi up 10%. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk that CleanSpark and SoFi? CleanSpark is the number one executor in my portfolio today. Who would have thunk? Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? Me? Huh? Me? That's who. Let's go up here and see if we got better numbers on SoFi or CleanSpark. 12% on the calls now, getting a little better. Outperforming the stock, just barely, but getting better. Headed in the right direction. We like to see that. I'm still down 6.81% because I like to buy shit early. But we should start flying pretty quickly on these, and I'm very excited. Very excited to see that outperforming today. And MicroStrategy only up 4.38. So being up 11% on the stock for CleanSpark, I think is a pretty good indication of outperformance. Mara up over 10%. Iron up 8.27. It's playing out just like I said it was going to. So I told you so. I told you so. And now Tesla's getting a little bit of a bounce back. All right. I'm only down 4,700. So you guys are getting your opportunity to buy. Dennis, CleanSpark, that is why I'm averaging in on the way down so I can enjoy the wave up sooner. Exactly. When you know you're right, that's what matters, right? And CleanSpark. And where's my friend? Oh, God, what was his fucking name? Why am I forgetting it right now? Not Morten Simbach, the other guy. Whatever. Anyway, he talks about how MicroStrategy was doing so good and how he's not going to talk to people because they don't understand how great MicroStrategy is and it's just going to keep outperforming all the time because math isn't real, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, that has not been working out as we see this screaming higher off the W bottom. It could have rolled over. Could have happened if Bitcoin would have underperformed. But no, it's turning into a W bottom, and its measured move is getting us closer to the $14 range, and it can happen very quickly. Jesse, what do you think about shorting Uber? It's not worth it. You can look at the option chain, but the return isn't good, in my opinion. But double check it and make sure that I'm not talking shit. I could be wrong. I haven't looked at it in a while. But last time I looked, it just didn't have a good multiple. Again, I like the 3x multiple of the underlying. And I like at least that for shorts because you need to buy shorts when nobody else is buying them. And what is the put-call ratio anyway? On the same kind of note. Woof. Nobody's shorting this market right now, guys. Look at that. Some of the lowest numbers we've seen in years. Again, when these trend lines go down like this and people aren't buying puts, the stock market usually blossoms. And then by the time it gets to about the end of 2025, maybe you should own a lot of puts. Or at least have a nice hedge. Right? I would hope you would do that. SoFi, $10. Aren't you guys happy today? The sky is not falling today. Clean Spark up 12%. Suck it. Caleb. Yeah, I like Caleb, but he's an idiot about MicroStrategy. He's not being real. Short Carvana. I looked at the multiples on that and I didn't like them. It's just not enough of a return, guys. And again, I think you're early if you're shorting right now. Global liquidity is too powerful. Dennis Neuber, Pete, LG, I agree. I've been averaging down as well. Yep. So again, today's going to be a good day, guys. In the market recap, we'll cover some of that. I'll go over a lot of stocks too, like pulling up stocks at your guys' request. Bitcoin was almost like oil was 20 years ago. When oil moved, many stocks would soar and others would dip. That's less pronounced now. Yeah, you're going to get, again, shitcoins. How are shitcoins doing today, guys? What's the daily on the shitcoins today? Pretty good. Pretty good. And the monthly? Not bad. Look at this stupid shit. 5,700% on Nero. Just retarded returns. Yep. So just some of these things just keep screaming. Things that were nothing before, all of a sudden a ton right now. And this is just going to keep getting better, guys. It's going to keep getting better. Look at this. The 1 week here on these still doing good. And the 1 day, again, just stupid. The 1 hour is getting better too. This isn't an hour. Imagine what happens if the market really takes off. You're going to see these shitcoins just fly. Got more Tesla calls today. Cool. I hear my daughter. Hopefully she's not going to be too loud since I'm literally making a YouTube video right now. Jesse and Cantonese Cat gonna go Shawn Michaels all day long. Suck it. Tesla bouncing. Yeah, lots of good stuff, guys. So anyway, I think it's going to be a good day. Mara's up 10.5% right now, following along with CleanSpark, outperforming BITX, which is a 2x fund for Bitcoin. Short-term MicroStrategy QQQ is getting front run. Yeah. Again, MSTR is just, it's kind of giving up its lead, and it will. Even MSTX is only up 7.32. So MicroStrategy looks pretty pathetic at 4% returns. And wait until Saylor dumps that shit. Wait until he dumps it and it's down like 10% in a day after being up 4. Doesn't have to happen today, but it will happen soon. Val Howdy, what's your take on TLT as a hedge aside? I think TLT is going to be a play that I'm going to look at and pay more attention to later. I've said that a few times, but if we just look over here, let's just pull it up real quick. TLT and TMF are going to get butchered in the meantime. I wouldn't look at them now as cash positions or hedges. I might add to them later, but there's just so many other things to invest in right now. But it is getting close to like pretty oversold here. This might be a place where, again, if you think of it as cash, and you're just trying to put some cash on the sidelines, I don't think TLT is a bad deal right now. It would have to go up 93% just to get to its previous high in February of 2020 before the pandemic. So it's been pretty brutalized, right? But it can get more brutalized, which is my worry. So this looks like an ascending triangle where it's going to find support and where it'll break out maybe into spring of next year. And I do plan on adding to my position. But if you don't have anything else to buy and you've done really, really good on gains and you just want to nibble off a little bit, then TLT is probably not too bad. Just think of it as cash that could go down a little bit or go up a little bit. Don't think of it as giving you a great yield right now. Val Howdy says, thanks for your hard work. New sub here. Awesome. Congrats, Val. Welcome aboard. Hopefully you get a lot of value from this. I think I'm a lot better than somebody like me, Kevin. So got a lot more experience, made a lot more mistakes than he has. He's still just starting his. TFB, imagine what happens when Bitcoin crosses 90,000. The FOMO will be insane. And I showed up. Oh, God, I didn't do this yet. Let's just jump real quickly. So let's keep going down this Bitcoin train because there is other stuff. So first off, let me just shrink this up. So here is me 14 hours ago saying a beautiful weekly close for Bitcoin. We're headed a lot higher sooner, maybe within a week to a month. Maybe before that. For once, I'm being pessimistic. Again, the money supply, you can see how it's going to follow, how Bitcoin is going to follow the price. That will be what happens. I showed the price target, how I'm the same as Crypto Rover. I think we're going to 280, but I'll be out of leverage plays by 150. Galley, again, showing some crazy uphill percentage potential for Bitcoin. Just short interest really high. That's what DR Lewis was talking about here for all these different miners. He's like, Mara's 26%, Hut's 21, CleanSpark's 19, Riot's 18. These are crazy short percentages. There's going to be a lot of money to be made to the upside. I agree with all of that. Let me see. Oh, this thing hopped on me. And again, we know we got a bunch of people buying Bitcoin. I don't remember what thing I wanted to look at, though. I was going to show you something. When are the TradingView discounts usually? It's Black Friday. So I think is that October? When is Black Friday? I don't know. You guys tell me when Black Friday is. I don't want to look it up. But it's like a huge discount. Let me see. What is the TradingView discount normally for Black Friday? I got to get Poe on here. Can I get Poe on my desktop? Dude, I got a lot of stuff to do. I got to get Poe on my desktop. I've got to get that. What were you telling me earlier? You had something for me earlier. I got it on my Snagit. I got to pull that up. I got to get Poe on my desktop. I got to get Speechify working so we can listen to Snoop Dogg read shit back for us. Yeah, look at this. 70% discount. Up to a 70% discount on Black Friday. So 50 to 70% are the discounts that TradingView usually gives. So you want to wait for that. If you're going to pay for it, guys, do it then. Speechify VST plugins for OBS? What the fuck? Shut the fuck up. Shh. Watch your mouth, Sarthak. Are you serious? Bro? That would be sweet. So Martin told me that I can get the volumizer balancer. So I got to do that for OBS. You're telling me I might be able to get a Speechify ad for OBS. What? Then also I can get Speechify on here, and I need to get Poe on here to do searches for me. Gemini's okay, but I want Poe. Oh my God. And then there's so much more to do because I got to get Descript running. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. There's so many cool things for me to play with, guys. New toys and experiences to make all of this better. And I love that. I love it when I'm playing. When will Grok have a voice? He does. He does. It's going to be, it's going to be Optimus. Optimus is the voice of Grok. And you'll have different skins, just like with Speechify. I can use Mr. Beast. I can use Snoop Dogg. You'll be able to do that exact same thing with Optimus. You'll be able to have whatever overlay you want for his voice. Path of Exile Gamer. No, Poe's a little bit different. Poe is AI. Poe AI, and it's just so cool. This is my favorite AI right now, guys. I don't want to show you. I don't want to show you all this. Maybe I can't show it right now. I guess we're just in here. It logged me in. Okay, so Poe gives you access to all of these guys. O1 Mini, O1 Preview. So like all the open AI stuff. It gives you the assistant, which is like general purpose answers to things. It can give you up-to-date information. Gives you web search. Again, it's powered by GPT 4.0 Mini. It gives you Claude 3.5. Again, a bunch of OpenAI versions. Flux, Ideogram, just like a ton of Llama. You got Llama, all the Gemini, all the different versions. No, Poe is free, I think, for a little bit. But if you pay for it, which I think I'm paying like $8 or $9 a month, I get access to all these fuckers, and I get a ton of credits, and then you can buy more. So I can use every AI model in one place. I love it, dude. It is so cool, guys. It is so cool. So if you want to play around with AI models, why not have access to all of them? And then you can run the query in one. Poe will run it first, and then you can, and then it'll say, oh, hey, do you want to run it in this, or this? And you can select a different one to run too. That way you can see how they can compare between the results that they get out or they put out. I love it. It's just what I said, Sealess. Just the fact that you can access all of them. I mean, it doesn't hurt to be able to access all of them and get a feel for all the different AI models that are out there. It's got some that create images too. like a Piku or Pika or something. So I had it create thumbnails in one, and then I had it run through to animate the thumbnail in another. So it literally takes the image you have and then animates it into a visual, and it was fucking cool. So I'm playing around with a lot of this stuff because I figure if I'm going to be a master of AI investing, I probably better master AI, right? So that's a goal. All right, so we're over 3 hours in, guys. I think I'm going to call it here. I hope you guys got something out of this. I got a lot of fun tools to play with. I need to get my Descript installed. Plus, I told the kids that they could play with my VR headset, my Oculus 3. So I got to give them that because they've still got the day off because it's a holiday. So anyway, I love you guys. I appreciate all of you. Thank you all for the tips. Thank you all for everything you guys do, the memberships and everything. Subscribe to X if you haven't already. I'm going to really try and give good content on there. Thank you to the 402 people that already are. Thank you to the almost 2,500 members. We're real close, probably getting there today maybe, across Discord, YouTube, and X. All these platforms, paying anywhere from $2 to $25 a month. Thank you for your patronage. It helps the channel. We're buying a bunch of things. I'm trying to ingest all of it that I can. I need to get into Discord more. I haven't been doing it. There's just a lot on my plate, but it's going to be a fun next year, I think, as we make tons of money, develop better tools, and provide more insights, and make videos and hopefully content that are quicker and easier to digest and that serve all kinds of audiences. So I'm hoping we have a lot, guys. All right, Tony, I love you, bro. You take it easy, man. Let's go biking sometime. All right, peace out, guys. I will talk to you later, okay? Otherwise, have a great day. And what should we go out today? I think it's going to be a Bitcoin day. Let me see if I can find... let's do this. Michael Saylor, we call them poor. That's what we're going to be doing today.
What do you do
Bye, guys.
with the Bitcoin besides it just gather value?
Real estate developers in New York City, they're not buying the real estate because they want to live in it.
But like most of the people who are buying assets at some point want to sell the assets at a profit.
People that use fiat currency as a store of value, we call them poor. We call them poor. People that use fiat currency, we call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. There's a name for them. We call them poor. We call them poor. Okay? Right, like, the point is, if you have the superior asset, it's going up forever, Laura. Forever.
Right, but we can all look Bitcoin sort of as...
Forever, Laura. People that use fiat currency as a store of value, we call them poor. We call them poor. People that use fiat currency, we call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. There's a name for them. We call them poor. 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 Okay?